Nestled in the heart of Pyongyang, North Korea, the Ryugyong Hotel stands as a striking and enigmatic structure, often referred to as the Hotel of Doom. Its colossal, pyramidal silhouette looms over the city, presenting a stark contrast to the surrounding architecture. This towering edifice, which reaches a dizzying height of 330 meters, is a reminder of ambition and aspiration, yet also carries an air of mystery and intrigue. Construction on the Ryugyong Hotel began in 1987, aiming to create the tallest hotel in the world. With the promise of luxury and grandeur, it was to feature 3,000 rooms, restaurants, and breathtaking views of the city. However, as the years passed, the grand vision increasingly slipped into the realm of the unrealized. The initial excitement surrounding the project waned as North Korea's economic difficulties set in. In the face of a crumbling economy and the collapse of the Soviet Union, construction crews abandoned the project in 1992, leaving the Ryugyong Hotel in a state of incomplete disarray. The structure, wrapped in scaffolding, remained a ghostly figure, overlooked and neglected as it towered above the streets of Pyongyang. It became an archetype of grand dreams unfulfilled, which sparked curiosity and speculation around the world. For many, the image of a hotel left unfinished for decades in a capital city was too compelling to ignore. It piqued the interest of journalists, urban explorers, and even conspiracy theorists. The building was often depicted as a symbol of North Korea's isolation and the disconnect between the government's intentions and the realities of its economic struggles. The media dubbed it the Hotel of Doom, a title reflecting not just its unfinished nature, but also its serendipitous connection to the air of mystery surrounding North Korea itself. Despite its enthralling facade, very little information about the hotel surfaced during its years of silence. Observers speculated about what might have been had it opened, envisioning a commercial hub where international travelers would flock to experience North Korean luxury. Would there have been glitzy casinos, lavish banquets, and panoramic views that reveal the city in all its complexity? Instead, the Ryugyong Hotel stood as a monument to dashed hopes and unrealized potential. In 2008, a new chapter in the Ryugyong Hotel's story began. North Korea announced that construction would resume, and a slew of images showcasing renovations and scaffolding began to circulate. Some exterior cladding was added, revealing a gleaming glass facade that shimmered under the sun. However, the hotel still lacked a finished interior, leading many to question whether it would ever truly welcome guests. The world watched with a blend of skepticism and hope as the Ryugyong Hotel slowly transformed from an abandoned relic into a building that might once again serve a purpose. The narrative of the Ryugyong Hotel extends beyond architecture. It reflects the broader themes of resilience, ambition, and the societal spirit of North Korea. As uncertainty loomed over its future, discussions about the hotel often became intertwined with considerations about the nation's political landscape. What did the mere presence of such a grand structure signify in a country where progress often seemed elusive? Would the Ryugyong serve as a beacon of modernization, or merely a reminder of unfulfilled aspirations? In recent years, images of the hotel alongside progress made in other areas of the city have appeared, creating a duality within Pyongyang. On one hand, the Ryugyong Hotel stands tall as a statement of persistence and potential. On the other hand, it symbolizes the stark contrast between ambition and reality. Its presence is compelling not only as an architectural marvel, but also as a representation of the nation's journey. While rumors circulate about potential plans for the hotel, including the possibility of it one day becoming a functioning establishment, the reality remains ambiguous. Tourists hoping for a glimpse into one of the world's most closed societies often visit Pyongyang, only to find themselves gazing up at the Ryugyong Hotel, surrounded by questions. What stories lie behind its walls? Will it ever open to the world? In a region marked by secrecy and enigma, the Ryugyong Hotel remains a subject of speculation, its floors echoing with the dreams of the past mixed with the hope for what lies ahead. As the narrative surrounding Ryugyong evolves, it continues to capture imaginations. This building stands not just as an unfinished architectural feat, but as a storytelling canvas. What began as an ambitious project has morphed into a symbol of vitality and speculation, bridging the gap between the past and present of a nation in constant transition. One can only wonder what the future holds for the Ryugyong Hotel. Will it eventually fulfill its original promise, or remain a monumental enigma, a reminder of the dreams that linger in the shadows of Pyongyang? Only time will reveal the fate of the Hotel of Doom as it continues to provoke curiosity and fascination for those who gaze upon its formidable presence. Kim Jong-il, the former leader of North Korea, is often enveloped in a fascinating web of myths and propagandistic narratives, one of which is the story surrounding his birthplace. According to official North Korean sources, Kim Jong-il was born on Mount Paektu, a location celebrated as the ancestral home of the Korean people and a symbol of national pride. This mountain holds significant cultural and historical importance, and elevating Kim Jong-il's birthplace to such an exalted site was a strategic choice by the North Korean regime. Mount Paektu, standing at an impressive height of 2,744 meters, is not just a geographical landmark. It is steeped in folklore and history, regarded by many Koreans as the birth of their nation. The mountain is tied to various legends, including tales of its creation from volcanic eruptions and the belief that it is the earthly home of the spirits of the Korean kings. With a profound reverence associated with Mount Paektu, claiming Kim Jong-il was born there served to amplify the aura of his leadership and the legitimacy of his lineage, as he was presented as a leader chosen by destiny itself. However, historical investigations and various scholarly researchers suggest a different narrative. Evidence points to Kim Jong-il actually being born in Vyatskoye, a village in the Soviet Union, particularly during the tumultuous period around World War II. The story diverges from the official narrative, suggesting a more ordinary and perhaps less heroic beginnings than North Korea propagates. This alternative origin story has often been downplayed or omitted altogether in official communications, making the narrative constructed around Mount Paektu not just a matter of national pride, but a core part of the regime's identity. The ramifications of this myth are significant. Presenting Kim Jong-il as the offspring of Mount Paektu establishes a divine right to rule, creating a nationalistic fervor that bolsters the regime's control and encourages loyalty among the populace. In a country where propaganda reigns supreme, the origin story functions as a foundational myth that unifies the people under the banner of their leader. This is a narrative strategy seen in various cultures throughout history, where leaders are depicted as having extraordinary beginnings that set them apart from ordinary human experiences. Moreover, this myth contributes to the overall cult of personality surrounding the Kim family dynasty. By associating Kim Jong-il with a sacred site, the government shapes an image of him that resonates with spirituality and grandeur, leading to a perception of infallibility. This construction of a mythical birthplace plays into a broader pattern observed with other leaders globally, where extraordinary claims bolster authority and consolidate power, encouraging a population to view their leaders as figures not just of political significance, but of quasi-religious stature. The belief in Kim Jong-il's birthplace has also been perpetuated through various forms of media and educational systems in North Korea. Children are taught about the greatness of Mount Paektu from a young age, learning about its significance in Korean history and how it parallels the leadership narratives of the Kim family. Even cultural productions, such as film and literature, elevate this myth, intertwining it with North Korean identity and memory. Additionally, the symbolism of Mount Paektu does not stop with Kim Jong-il. It extends to his father, Kim Il-sung, who is also depicted as having connections to this mountain. This familial narrative creates a core mythos within the regime that champions the idea of the Kim family being tied to the land. It suggests an inextricable link between their leadership and the very essence of Korean identity, reinforcing the state's narrative and solidifying its power structure. The impact of the birthplace myth extends beyond borders as well. The claim serves as a tool in international diplomacy, presenting North Korea as a unified nation with deep historical roots and a strong leadership lineage. By focusing on the supposed divine aspects of their leadership, the regime crafts a narrative designed to intimidate both internal dissent and external adversaries, portraying the country as a nation guided by a purpose defined by its mountains and spirits. In contrast, the alternative narrative of Kim Jong-il's birthplace is emblematic of the broader discussions about the intersection of fact and propaganda, especially in the context of authoritarian regimes. This juxtaposition highlights how powerful figures can manipulate history and geography to craft compelling narratives that resonate with the populace and serve political ends. The process of myth-making is a crucial element of political identity in many places, revealing the lengths to which leaders will go to secure their place in the minds and hearts of those they govern. In conclusion, the story of Kim Jong-il's birthplace is not just a tale of individual heritage, but a reflection of the broader themes of power, identity, and propaganda. While the majestic Mount Paektu stands as a testament to Korean culture and history, it also serves as a canvas for the construction of a leadership myth that continues to shape North Korean society. The contrast between the myth and the reality serves as a reminder of the complexities inherent in the narratives we are told and the beliefs we hold, urging us to look beyond the surface of such stories, to discover the rich tapestry of human experience that lies beneath. The Arirang Mass Games, held in North Korea, are a captivating blend of art, performance, and national pride. These spectacular displays have captured the imagination of audiences worldwide, showcasing thousands of performers coordinating intricate movements in unison, creating a vivid tapestry of color and emotion. At first glance, the beauty of the choreography can be mesmerizing, drawing viewers into a world where discipline and creativity collide to create an unprecedented visual experience. However, beneath this picturesque surface lies a more complex reality characterized by months, if not years, of intense training. Participants, often schoolchildren and young adults, dedicate countless hours to perfecting their routines. The precision of their movements is not only a testament to their hard work, but also a reflection of the importance placed on group unity and conformity in North Korean society. Each performer learns to synchronize their actions with their peers, emphasizing the collective effort over individual expression. This emphasis on conformity is a crucial aspect of the performance, meant to instill a sense of belonging and loyalty among the participants to their nation and its leaders. What might astonish viewers is the sheer scale of these performances. The Arirang Mass Games can involve up to 100,000 people on stage at a time, all working in harmony to create a visual spectacle that is truly unparalleled. The spectacle unfolds in Pyongyang's Runggrado 1st of May Stadium, where thousands sit in organized formations, reflecting the discipline ingrained in North Korean culture. As they join their movements, they create enormous mosaics or symbolic imagery through cleverly placed cards and coordinated body movements, each depicting elements that resonate deeply with North Korean ideology. The themes of the Arirang Mass Games are steeped in the ideals of the state. They often celebrate the country's leaders, historical events, and revolutionary struggles. It is fascinating to see how the essence of the performance is designed to evoke strong nationalistic feelings among the spectators. The narratives told through the choreography can highlight the great achievements of the nation and its people, portraying a version of history that aligns with the government's perspective. This is an integral part of North Korea's approach to shaping its citizens' worldview. Like the iconic Korean folk song Arirang, after which the games are named, the performances tap into deep cultural roots, integrating traditional music and visuals with powerful narratives. Viewers can witness a seamless blend of historical and contemporary elements, from the revolutionary fervor of the past to the ambitions of the current regime. This blend serves not only as entertainment, but also as a means of reinforcing national identity and pride. The experience of the audience is also crafted carefully to enhance the impact of the performance. Energy in the stadium builds as loud music, grand costumes, and elaborate designs come together to engulf spectators in a sensory experience. The excitement and enthusiasm of the crowd can be contagious, encouraging participation and applause in unison, creating an atmosphere charged with fervor and devotion. However, the Arirang Mass Games also reflect the socio-political realities of North Korea. Critics often point out that such grandiose spectacles serve as a distraction from the various challenges the country faces. While the performances are stunning, they require substantial resources and might appear to be a means of projecting power and stability on the international stage, overshadowing the struggles of ordinary people. This complexity reveals a duality. On one hand, the beauty and artistry of their performances inspire awe, while on the other, they raise questions about the motivations behind such exhibitions. The future of the Arirang Mass Games remains uncertain. Changes in leadership, economic pressures, and shifts in the political landscape could influence the continuation of this tradition. Yet, the potential for creativity and expression within this framework is boundless. New generations may find innovative ways to reinterpret these performances, merging contemporary art with traditional values, and reshaping what the Arirang Mass Games signify for the country. Exploring the Arirang Mass Games allows us to delve into the intricate tapestry of North Korea's culture, revealing not just a powerful spectacle, but also layers of meaning that speak to national identity, political ideology, and collective memory. The beauty of the performance captures imaginations, while the underlying themes provoke thought, illustrating the complex relationship between art, culture, and politics in one of the world's most enigmatic nations. The layers of training, dedication, and ideology provide a glimpse into a world where performance art transcends mere entertainment, becoming a powerful vehicle for national expression and unity. As the games evolve, they may continue to draw both admiration and scrutiny, reminding us of the power of art to convey deeper truths about society and the human experience. Each performance resonates with the rhythm of an ongoing narrative, bridging the past with the future in a land marked by its contrasting realities. In the summer of 1976, in a landscape marked by tension and military presence, a seemingly simple mission escalated into a significant military standoff known as Operation Paul Bunyan. This event took place in the Korean Demilitarized Zone, a heavily fortified buffer between North and South Korea, which had become an emblem of the broader Cold War conflict. The theater of this operation was the Korean Demilitarized Zone, a scarred landscape where the remnants of war lay juxtaposed with the anxiety of peace. Within this zone, there existed a particular spot that had become the focus of prolonged contention. The area was home to a large poplar tree that obstructed the view between United Nations forces and North Korean outposts. Its significance transcended mere geography. It had taken on a symbolic weight that compelled both sides to confront it. On August 18th, an incident pushing both sides to the brink unfolded. Two American soldiers, Captain Arthur Boniface and Lieutenant Mark Barrett, were assigned to an operation aimed at removing the tree. As they conducted this task under the watchful eyes of their North Korean counterparts, they were ambushed by a group of North Korean soldiers. This unexpected confrontation led to a tragic escalation, resulting in the deaths of the two Americans and igniting a firestorm of tensions in the region. In the wake of this incident, the United States swiftly recognized the need for a calculated response. Operation Paul Bunyan was conceived as a symbolic, yet powerful demonstration of American resolve. The mission's aim was not just to remove the tree, but to reaffirm the United States' commitment to its allies in South Korea and to deter further aggression from the North. This operation was meticulously planned with precision. On August 21, 1976, the scene was set. American forces, backed by a contingent of South Korean troops, prepared for the monumental task ahead. Their objective seemed deceptively simple: the removal of a tree. However, the stakes were anything but trivial. The operation involved not just the lumberjack-style felling of the tree, but also a significant military buildup surrounding the area to ensure the safety of the personnel involved. A convoy of vehicles transported specialized equipment and reinforcements, while aircraft soared above, ready to provide aerial support should tensions rise. The area was flooded with troops and heavy machinery, creating an imposing show of force that starkly contrasted with the tranquil nature of the poplar tree itself. As the operation unfolded, the air thickened, not just with anticipation, but also with anxiety about the possible North Korean response. Despite the overwhelming presence of American and South Korean forces, the North Korean military was not idle. Reports indicated that they mobilized their own forces, unwilling to back down in the face of what they perceived as an affront to their sovereignty. Tensions crackled in the air as both sides remained poised for conflict, ready to respond to any provocation that could ignite a situation on the brink. As the moments ticked by, the anticipation built, and so did the drama of the operation. When the order was finally given, a sense of urgency swept across the forces as they advanced towards the destination of the tree. In stark contrast to the chaos that had previously ensued, the tree met its end with a single blow from a chainsaw. This act, however initial it seemed, symbolized much more than the mere cutting of wood. It represented the assertion of power, a tactical maneuver born from the desire to reclaim control in a landscape fraught with uncertainty. Operation Paul Bunyan ultimately concluded with the destruction of the tree, but the broader implications of this act would resonate in international relations for years to come. The operation was a testament to both nations' military posturing during a time of political discord, a clear indicator of how even the most trivial of events could lead to formidable consequences. After the tree was felled, the area was not left insecure. A new line was drawn in the sand, and in its place, a monument was erected to symbolize U.S. and South Korean resolve. This operation was lauded as a necessary demonstration of strength in the face of aggression, and while it ended without further escalation, the underlying tensions continued to simmer. The legacy of Operation Paul Bunyan was not just about the tree itself, but about the complexities of diplomacy, military engagement, and the precarious balance of power evident in the region. The operation served as a reminder of how the shadow of conflict loomed large over acts of seemingly simple nature, and how actions taken in one moment could ripple through history, shaping the course of international relations. In the years following Operation Paul Bunyan, the Korean peninsula remained a focal point of geopolitical dynamics, highlighting the enduring legacy of this unique military operation. Despite the passage of time, the fabric of history weaves through such events, reminding us of the delicate nature of peace and the often razor-thin lines that separate rivalry and diplomacy. The story of Operation Paul Bunyan is not merely a tale of trees and troops. It is a microcosm of the broader human experience navigating conflict, resolution, and the constant quest for stability in an unpredictable world. Keumgang, often referred to as the, quote, Peace Village, is a unique and intriguing place that captures the imagination of many. It is located in the Korean Demilitarized Zone, which is the heavily fortified buffer zone that separates North and South Korea. From a distance, Keumgang appears to be a bustling community, with colorful buildings, well-kept parks, and fluttering flags, but as one gets closer, the reality becomes much more complex. This village was established in the 1950s, shortly after the Korean War, during a time when tensions between the North and South were at an all-time high. North Korea aimed to create an image of prosperity in the face of adversity, showcasing what they deemed a harmonious life in the North. The village was intended to be a counterpoint to the South, symbolizing peace and unity. However, the conditions that surround Keumgang suggest a different story. While it appears to be a functioning town, Keumgang is essentially a facade. It is primarily used as a propaganda tool to promote North Korean ideals and to project an image of strength and stability. The buildings in the village are often said to be empty shells, meticulously maintained but devoid of real human activity. This deliberate construction of a ghost town serves as a visual representation of the North Korean regime's narrative, portraying a false sense of normalcy. Visitors to the area, particularly those on the South Korean side, often gaze upon Keumgang with a mix of curiosity and skepticism. The village has been designed to be visible from the south, particularly from the observatory points in South Korea. There, tourists can look across the heavily guarded military border and see what North Korea wants them to see: striking buildings and wide, open spaces that suggest a vibrant community. In reality, the village is largely uninhabited, with only a handful of officials occasionally residing there to maintain the appearance of activity. Another striking aspect of Keumgang is the large flagpole that towers over the village. This flagpole, adorned with the North Korean flag, is one of the tallest in the world. It stands as a powerful symbol of national pride and propaganda, constantly fluttering in the wind. The flag itself is massive, drawing the attention of anyone who looks in the direction of Keumgang. Nearby, broadcasts of patriotic music and propaganda messages can be heard wafting across the border, adding to the surreal atmosphere. There are various theories regarding the purpose of Keumgang and the motivations behind its creation. Some believe it is mainly a psychological tactic designed to influence and intimidate those living in the South. By showcasing an idealized version of life in the North, the regime aims to promote its governance and the supposed superiority of its system. It serves as a reminder that the North exists in stark contrast to the capitalist South. Additionally, Keumgang is a significant part of North Korea's larger strategy of using propaganda in its relations with South Korea and the international community. By continuously espousing messages of peace while simultaneously preparing for armed conflict, North Korea attempts to engage in a kind of psychological warfare. The village symbolizes the dual nature of the regime, which projects an image of benevolence to the outside world while maintaining a militaristic stance internally. The empty homes within Keumgang raise thought-provoking questions about perception and reality. How do our surroundings influence our beliefs and attitudes? What can be said about a place that exists solely for the purpose of presentation? The village challenges visitors to think critically about the information they receive, as well as the narratives constructed by authoritarian regimes. Interestingly, there have been reports over the years regarding the potential for Keumgang to be repurposed or even abandoned. While the village has remained for decades as a hallmark of North Korean propaganda, shifts in political relations and diplomatic negotiations could change its status. Many observers wonder what would happen should the village cease to exist in its current form. Would the absence of Keumgang mean the collapse of its propaganda effectiveness? Would North Korea find new ways to project its narratives without this visual construct? Despite the controversies surrounding Jangmadang, it remains a fascinating subject of study. It illustrates the lengths to which governments may go to shape perception and maintain control. The balance between reality and illusion is as precarious as the situation on the Korean peninsula itself. For those who gaze upon the village from afar, Jangmadang serves as a reminder of complex political dynamics and the power of symbolism in shaping our understanding of distant lands. In conclusion, visiting Jangmadang, or learning about it, provides an opportunity to reflect on the broader themes of propaganda, nationalism, and the nature of truth. The village stands not just as a political statement, but as a lens through which one can examine the intersection of culture, identity, and power. Through the empty streets and silent buildings, Jangmadang invites contemplation on how people absorb and interpret the narratives bestowed upon them by powerful entities. It remains a vivid example of how a place can be imbued with meaning far beyond its physical structure, telling a story that continues to unfold in the context of greater historical narratives. In the shadows of a tightly controlled regime, North Korea operates a series of secretive prison camps known as Kwanliso. These facilities are designed to detain political prisoners and those deemed to be threats to the state. Step into a world where human rights are not merely neglected but systematically violated. The atrocities committed within these walls are shocking, revealing the lengths to which the government will go to maintain absolute control over its citizens. Imagine being taken from your home, your family, and thrust into a place of unimaginable suffering. Reports suggest that those held within these camps endure horrific conditions. Overcrowding, inadequate food, and extreme violence are part of daily life. Guards wield unchecked power, and any sign of dissent is met with severe punishment. Victims often describe a climate of fear, where simply speaking out could result in dire consequences. Life in a Kwanliso resembles a dystopian nightmare. Detainees are subjected to forced labor, often working long hours in harsh conditions without the possibility of escape. Think about a grueling day where the only reprieve from tireless work comes in the form of meager, often rancid meals. With each passing day, hope dwindles as individuals face isolation, with little to no contact with the outside world. The North Korean government does not only imprison individuals for their beliefs, but it also targets entire families. A practice known as guilt by association means that if one family member is accused of wronging the state, others may be sent to the camps as well, condemned to suffer for the actions of one. This policy fosters an environment of distrust, where families live in fear of being reported or turned in by their neighbors or even their own relatives. Stories from survivors paint horrifying pictures of life behind bars. They speak of psychological torture, forced confessions, and unspeakable acts of violence that break the spirit of even the strongest individuals. Many prisoners witness the execution of fellow inmates, which serves as a chilling reminder that dissent, even in thought, can lead to a grim fate. Despite the bleakness, some have miraculously managed to escape these dreadful places. Their accounts reveal an unshakable will to survive, offering harrowing insights into what truly occurs in these hidden camps. To shed light on the plight of these prisoners, various human rights organizations work tirelessly to expose the realities of life within the Kwanliso system. They gather testimonies and data, reminding the world that these abuses cannot go unnoticed. As they unravel the truth, they face immense challenges, but their commitment persists in the hope that awareness leads to change. In recent years, international attention has focused on North Korea's human rights record. Documentaries, articles, and reports now serve as platforms for survivors to share their stories, allowing their voices to echo beyond the confines of the camps. These narratives act as powerful reminders of resilience in the face of brutality, inspiring global movements advocating for justice and accountability. Different nations grapple with how best to respond to such heinous abuses. Diplomatic relationships, economic sanctions, and public awareness remain essential tools in the fight against global human rights violations. Advocates emphasize the need for collective action, calling on governments and citizens alike to support the ongoing plight for human rights in North Korea. Conversely, the regime remains dismissive of external criticism. In the eyes of the North Korean government, these camps are often portrayed as necessary measures to protect the state from perceived threats. They perpetuate a narrative of internal stability, bearing the reality of suffering under layers of propaganda. Misinformation and control of the media prevent the voices of the oppressed from reaching a wider audience, allowing the regime to continue its systematic denials. The existence of Kwanliso presents a unique challenge to the international community, raising questions about moral responsibility and the power of collective action. Advocating for change requires a multifaceted approach, spearheaded by those willing to confront harsh truths and offer support to victims. Human rights defenders are working both inside and outside of North Korea to push for reform and to hold those responsible accountable for their actions. As we learn more about these hidden injustices, let us remember the importance of empathy and humanity. Each person affected by the horrors of these camps is not just a statistic. They are individuals with hopes, dreams, and the fundamental right to live freely. By shining a light into the dark corners of oppression, we can pave the way for a future where such abominable practices are a thing of the past, and the voices of the silenced are finally heard. Let us continue to examine the implications of human rights violations. On a global scale, the situation in North Korea serves as a poignant reminder that the pursuit of justice requires constant vigilance and advocacy. Through education, awareness, and unwavering support for those facing oppression, we can stand in solidarity with victims of human rights abuses everywhere. As we bear witness to the struggles and stories that emerge from the shadows, we renew our commitment to a world where every individual is honored and protected in their dignity and freedom. The Hermit Kingdom, a term often used to describe North Korea, remains one of the most isolated countries in the world, especially when it comes to its internet access. More than just a means of communication or information, the internet in North Korea operates as a carefully curated landscape, where restrictions shape the user experience and information flow. This intriguing environment offers a unique glimpse into how states control digital narratives. While most countries have access to the vast resources of the World Wide Web, North Korea's internet is a tightly controlled and limited space. Officially, citizens can only access a handful of websites, with estimates suggesting that there are only about 5,000 sites available. These websites provide a narrow range of content, primarily focused on government propaganda, educational materials, and cultural information. In fact, most of the content is designed to reinforce the state's ideology and cultivate a specific narrative about the country's leadership and historical events. In North Korea, internet access is not something that is easily available to everyone. The general population has limited exposure to the internet, as it is largely restricted to a select group of individuals such as government officials, researchers, and certain elites. This exclusivity ensures that the state maintains control over what is disseminated, effectively limiting exposure to external influences and foreign cultures. For many North Koreans, the idea of using the internet as a tool for global communication is a distant notion, far removed from their daily reality. The few who do manage to access the internet have to navigate a completely different cyber landscape. Instead of connecting to the World Wide Web, they are linked to the domestic intranet, known as Kumgang. This local network serves up government-approved content and restricts any information that could contradict the official narrative. It is designed to reflect the state's ideology, presenting a sanitized version of reality that aligns with the government's messaging. One common misconception is that access to the internet necessarily equates to freedom of information. In North Korea, this access is highly regulated, and users cannot simply look up any topic they wish. Instead, searches are monitored, and sensitive topics, such as criticism of the government, are blocked entirely. This manipulation extends to the information citizens are educated with, ensuring that they are well-versed in state-approved perspectives while remaining unaware of differing viewpoints. The government's grip on information doesn't stop at simply restricting access. The possession of technology that allows internet access is also tightly controlled. Personal computers and smartphones capable of connecting to the internet are rare and often come with strict oversight. For instance, many mobile devices operate on a unique operating system developed by North Korea itself, which further limits what users can do and see online. Unauthorized attempts to access external networks can lead to severe punishment. International influences find their way into North Korea primarily through smuggled foreign media, such as movies, television shows, and books. These imports sometimes resonate with citizens, offering a glimpse into a world beyond the tightly controlled environment of the Hermit Kingdom. However, those who consume such content often do so at great risk, as it is illegal and can carry dire consequences. The existence of these materials hints at a desire for connection to the outside world, despite the overwhelming efforts of the state to maintain isolation. Additionally, the state authorities have developed an extensive propaganda apparatus that cleverly employs the internet for their aims, ensuring that most online communications align with their ideological goals. For example, news articles feature glowing reports on the leadership, agricultural successes, and the advancement of technology, all presented in a way that glorifies the nation and its governing body. Moreover, any online interactions are heavily monitored. Authorities track the online activities of those with access, creating a culture of surveillance that discourages free expression or dissenting opinions. This closely monitored environment contributes to a sense of compliance among citizens, as many learn to navigate discussions cautiously, often abstaining from topics that could invoke punishment. In essence, North Korea's approach to the internet is shaped by an overarching narrative of control and isolation. The limited access ensures that the ruling party can maintain an iron grip on the flow of information while reinforcing loyalty to the state. Citizens are not granted the freedom that many around the world take for granted, and their internet experience reflects the broader themes of censorship and propaganda present in their everyday lives. This unique blend of limited access, strict regulation, and government oversight presents an intriguing case study of how digital technologies can be manipulated for political purposes. It serves as a reminder of the diverse experiences of internet users globally, highlighting how access can differ greatly shaped by governance and ideology. In the Hermit Kingdom, the internet is not just a tool for connection, but a mechanism through which the state exerts its influence and controls the narrative within its borders. As the sun rises over the capital city of Pyongyang, the stage is set for one of the most anticipated events in North Korea, the military parade. These parades are a dazzling spectacle, attracting attention from people all over the world. Onlookers gather to witness a powerful display of military strength, precision, and discipline. However, there is much more beneath the surface of these grand events, wrapping them in mystery and intrigue. North Korean military parades are meticulously planned down to the finest detail. Every element is orchestrated to convey not just strength, but also unity and national pride. These parades typically showcase thousands of troops marching in perfect synchronization, each step echoing the rhythm of a well-rehearsed dance. The sight is remarkable, leaving many captivated by the sheer scale of the event. This symphony of movements is more than just a display of military prowess. It serves as a powerful reminder of the regime's ability to mobilize its forces and project an image of unwavering control. One of the striking features of these parades is the array of military hardware on display. Tanks, missiles, and other armaments roll by, gleaming under the sunlight and positioned in rows like sentinels of power. The visual impact is undeniable, and it raises many questions. What do these weapons mean for regional and global stability? What capabilities does North Korea possess that are hidden from view? As spectators and analysts watch attentively, there is a recognition that not every aspect of the North Korean military is revealed, making the military parades both fascinating and enigmatic. These grand displays not only showcase military strength, but also serve as a tool of propaganda. The regime carefully curates the information presented to both domestic and international audiences. This strategy creates a narrative of invincibility, attempting to instill fear in adversaries while simultaneously reinforcing patriotism among citizens. By emphasizing military preparedness, the leaders of North Korea aim to project an image of authority, asserting that they are ready to defend their sovereignty against perceived threats. Behind the curtain of spectacle lies an intricate network of preparation and secrecy. While the parades are meant to highlight achievements, they inevitably raise questions about what is not shown. Strategic capabilities, advanced technology, and military readiness are often obscured, fueling speculation and curiosity around what remains hidden. Observers analyze each parade closely, searching for clues that might reveal the country's true military capabilities. The psychological impact on both participants and spectators should not be underestimated. For soldiers, participating in a military parade can be a moment of immense pride. These events symbolize the commitment to the nation and showcase the sacrifices made in service. The pride of representation is palpable as they put their training to the test in front of the watching crowd. Meanwhile, for the North Korean populace, the parades serve as a source of inspiration and national unity, reinforcing their connection to the state. To an outsider, the entire spectacle appears choreographed, yet it evokes a sense of awe and respect. The mass gatherings, the beats of drums, and the synchronized movements of the soldiers create an atmosphere charged with palpable energy. Each parade marks a moment in time, commemorating significant anniversaries and military milestones, but also serving as a subtle reminder of the tension that underlies the region. Internationally, these displays are met with mixed reactions. Some see them as a threat, while others view them as a sign of North Korea's desperate attempt to gain recognition and legitimacy on the world stage. Analysts study these events closely, attempting to decipher any changes in displays or capabilities to assess the country's strategic intentions. As a result, these parades toggle between being mere celebrations of military might and critical junctures for geopolitical insight. Furthermore, the role of technology in these parades cannot be overlooked. In recent years, there have been advancements that illustrate a willingness to showcase both traditional military prowess alongside modern innovations. This blend hints at a possible shift in approach and strategy for the North Korean military. Each new development brings with it a new wave of fascination and speculation, proving once again that these parades are more than mere showcases. They are a complex reflection of a nation navigating external perceptions while maintaining internal control. Seasoned observers recognize the role of the international media, which scrutinizes every detail of these events. The images broadcast across the globe often spark debates and opinions, contributing to the overall narrative of what these displays mean on a larger scale. In an age of digital communication, every parade garners attention and speculation, connecting people worldwide to the enigmatic world of North Korea. In essence, North Korean military parades weave together themes of power, pride, and mystery. They are not just events for display. They encapsulate the country's aspirations and serve as a stage for conveying messages both domestically and internationally. While the visuals are striking, the real story lies in the subtleties and the questions they raise. For those who seek to understand the complexities of this regime, the military parade is a mesmerizing but opaque window into a world that is as captivating as it is elusive. North Korea, a nation often shrouded in mystery, presents a unique and complex example of state-controlled media. The media landscape in North Korea is entirely overseen by the government, creating a narrative that is strictly controlled and disseminated. This control shapes not only the information available to the public, but also influences the very thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors of its citizens. In North Korea, there are no independent news outlets or private media. All forms of communication, whether print, broadcast, or online, are monitored and regulated by the state. The Korean Central News Agency, known as KCNA, is the primary news agency of the country. It serves as the mouthpiece for the government, reporting on domestic and international events in a way that glorifies the leadership and promotes state ideology. The content produced by KCNA is designed to create a narrative that fosters loyalty to the regime, painting a picture of a nation that is self-sufficient and thriving despite external pressures. The information released to the public is carefully crafted. For instance, the accomplishments of the nation are highlighted, while any negative news, be it about economic hardships, natural disasters, or international sanctions, is downplayed or entirely omitted. This creates a skewed perception of reality, where citizens may genuinely believe that their country is a model of success compared to the rest of the world. The state uses this controlled narrative to maintain a sense of unity and national pride, often invoking themes of resilience against external enemies. The influence of state-controlled media extends beyond news reporting. It infiltrates various facets of daily life, from educational materials used in schools to the entertainment consumed by the public. Textbooks often include propaganda that glorifies the ruling Kim family, telling stories of their supposed heroism and dedication to the people. Films and music similarly reinforce state ideology, casting the regime in a positive light while demonizing perceived threats from abroad, particularly from the United States and South Korea. Children in North Korea grow up with a specific set of beliefs instilled from an early age, a reflection of the media they consume. Stories of great leaders are woven into daily lessons, and patriotic songs are taught in schools. This early indoctrination is critical in maintaining the regime's narrative, as it creates a populace that views the world through a lens of loyalty to their leaders and skepticism toward external influences. Another significant aspect of the media environment in North Korea is cultural programming. State-run television showcases content that emphasizes the successes of the government and the military, portraying the country as a bastion of strength. News segments may celebrate advancements in science and technology, often depicting the achievements of their political leaders as monumental victories for the nation. For instance, when North Korea successfully launches a satellite or tests a missile, the media will frame these events as triumphs that showcase the nation's ingenuity and determination. While the citizens of North Korea consume this media, they are also shielded from alternative views. Access to foreign media is strictly prohibited, and those caught engaging with outside information face severe consequences. Even the internet is a restricted space, with only a small fraction of the population having access to a controlled intranet that lacks the diversity of perspectives found in other countries. The state's efforts to segregate its citizens from the outside world further reinforce the controlled narrative, limiting exposure to alternative viewpoints and news. Moreover, the regime employs various tactics to suppress dissenting voices. Any criticism of the government or its leaders is met with harsh punishment, ranging from imprisonment to labor camps. This creates an atmosphere of fear, where citizens may suppress their true beliefs and feelings to conform to the state's narrative. The controlled media environment plays a crucial role in maintaining this climate of fear by perpetuating the idea that the regime is omnipotent and that dissent is both futile and dangerous. The role of the military in North Korean media also cannot be overlooked. The official motto often reflects the idea of military first, which places the military at the forefront of national pride and identity. State media features the accomplishments and heroism of the armed forces prominently, celebrating military parades and exercises as moments of national significance. This focus on the military is intended to project strength both domestically and internationally, presenting North Korea as a formidable nation ready to defend itself against perceived aggressors. In summary, the media landscape in North Korea is a pivotal tool for state control. Through meticulously curated narratives, the government shapes the perceptions and beliefs of its citizens, fostering loyalty and unity. The complete dominance of state-run media ensures that the populace is exposed to a singular vision of their nation, one that is heavily filtered to align with the interests of the regime. This carefully constructed narrative not only affects the lives of the North Korean people, but also serves to insulate them from the realities that lie beyond their borders, crafting a worldview that is deeply influenced by the state's ideology. The result is a society where loyalty is paramount, and the narrative is relentlessly upheld, all orchestrated through the powerful mechanism of controlled media. Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, is a city that stands at the intersection of the past and the present, where the whispers of history are often drowned out by the hum of modernization. As the skyline changes, transforming before the eyes of its residents and visitors, one must look carefully to uncover the stories hidden beneath the surface. The modernization project, with its gleaming skyscrapers and wide boulevards, may dazzle many, but it also tends to obscure the rich historical narrative that formed the foundation of this enigmatic city. Walking through the streets of Pyongyang, you are immediately struck by the striking juxtaposition of old and new. Towering structures like the Ryugyong Hotel, often referred to as the Hotel of Doom due to its troubled history, showcase ambitious architectural aspirations. However, while the city seeks to promote an image of prosperity and progress, numerous sites of historical significance remain tucked away, concealed from public view, offering a haunting reminder of the past. One such site is the old city of Pyongyang, often overlooked amid the contemporary developments. Remnants of traditional Korean architecture and neighborhoods can still be found, echoing stories of daily life before the tumult of war and the subsequent division of the Korean peninsula. Here, narrow alleys and rustic buildings tell tales of resilience, community, and heritage. The contrast to the sterile environments of modern constructions is stark, revealing the atmosphere of a city that once thrived in a different era. Another notable, yet overshadowed site, is the Mansudae Revolutionary Site. This location holds great significance, as it is considered the birthplace of Kim Il-sung, the founder of North Korea. While it has been preserved as a monument to the revolutionary leader, those who visit may not fully grasp the gravity of its historical context. This site stands as a testament to the struggles of the Korean people and the deep-rooted ideology that has shaped their national identity. However, the focus on the glorification of a singular narrative often glosses over the complexities of the collective past, limiting the understanding of the myriad events that have influenced the course of history. Then there are the remnants of Pyongyang's bomb shelters, which serve as chilling reminders of the Korean War. These shelters were essential for protecting civilians during conflict, and despite being a part of the city's fabric, they remain largely unseen by the public. Exploring these sites would reveal stories of survival, fear, and hope, highlighting the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Yet, they remain obscured by the city's current push towards a futuristic image as if to erase the shadows of warfare. The Korean War Memorial is another aspect of Pyongyang's layered history that eludes widespread recognition. While grand monuments celebrate military victories, they also mask the tragedies incurred during the war. The lives lost and the challenges faced by families during this period are often not part of the narrative that is publicly touted. By sidelining these stories, the city risks fostering a glorified view of its history, overshadowing the pain and complexities that are crucial for a complete understanding. Additionally, inscriptions of traditional Korean culture can be seen in various pockets of the city, yet they often lack the significance they deserve. Artifacts and performances that reflect the rich heritage of Korea, including music, dance, and festivals, may not receive the attention they warrant. Many visitors may approach the city expecting a glimpse into its proud cultural roots, but are underserved by the emphasis placed on contemporary symbols under the government's direction. As Pyongyang strides confidently into its modern identity, one can't help but wonder what stories lie beneath the surface. The hidden tales of its past beckon those who are willing to look beyond the polished exterior. They encourage a deeper exploration of the city's complex character, shaped by resilience, adaptation, and transformation. In neighborhoods where the older structures stand as silent witnesses, one can imagine the laughter of children playing in the streets, vendors calling out from small stalls, and families gathering for meals. These glimpses into the daily lives of those who came before can provide a poignant counterpoint to the realities of the present. It leads to an appreciation of a society that has experienced monumental change while holding on to its essence. As we ponder the identity of Pyongyang today, it is essential to recognize both the achievements and the remnants of its history. Acknowledging the ghosts of the past does not detract from its modernization, but rather enriches the narrative of this fascinating city. It is here, in the interplay of past and present, where one finds the true story of Pyongyang, a place of resilience, hope, and the enduring spirit of its people that refuses to be forgotten. In the heart of one of the most secretive nations in the world lies a life that many are unaware of, a hidden, elite lifestyle that sharply contrasts with the struggles of ordinary citizens. North Korea, a country often associated with its austere regime and economic hardships, simultaneously harbors a group of individuals living in a bubble of luxury and privilege. This hidden world of North Korean elites offers a fascinating glimpse into stark disparities, where ostentation thrives amid pervasive poverty. The ruling class in North Korea, often depicted as the elite who are closely linked to the Kim family, relish in an extravagant lifestyle that would seem unimaginable to the average citizen. Imagine grand palaces adorned with lavish decorations, surrounded by lush gardens that bloom year-round, despite the national struggles for food. These opulent residences are often designed with an architectural flair that echoes the glory of bygone dynasties, showcasing the power and wealth of those who reside within their walls. The elite's access to rare luxury items further highlights their distinct lifestyle. While ordinary citizens endure daily shortages of food and basic supplies, the privileged few indulge in imported goods, items often deemed unattainable by the general populace. Think of fine wines from vineyards around the world, exquisite silk garments, and delicacies that range from gourmet seafood to sweets crafted with precision and art. This stark contrast raises questions about the distribution of resources and the priorities of a regime that pays little heed to the needs of its people. Fashion is another telling aspect of this hidden lifestyle. Members of the elite class often don designer clothing, a far cry from the standardized uniforms required of the average North Korean citizen. Imagine lavish banquets where these individuals showcase their wealth through finely tailored suits and glamorous dresses, while outside, citizens might struggle to find a decent pair of shoes. This divergence in attire tells a story of societal structure, signaling to the world that not all within the country's borders experience life in the same way. Entertainment also plays a crucial role in the lives of the North Korean elite. While regular citizens gather in makeshift venues to watch state-sponsored performances, meant more for propaganda than enjoyment, the elite revel in exclusive events. Lavish parties, featuring renowned musicians and dancers from the country, are organized to celebrate achievements or simply for leisure. The mesmerizing performances often display a sense of artistry and freedom seldom afforded to the general population, further emphasizing the disconnect between these two worlds. The travel experiences of the elite are yet another showcase of their distinct lifestyle. While most citizens remain confined within their city limits, the elite glide effortlessly across borders. Travel to exotic locations is not uncommon, with trips to luxurious destinations that offer the finest experiences, including high-end resorts and cultural sites that remain hidden from the average North Korean citizen. Such privilege provides a stark reminder of the limited experiences that many in the country are subjected to, reinforcing the idea of a gilded cage surrounding the elite. In terms of education, the children of the elite receive a superior education, often abroad, allowing them to mingle with the world's affluent. While the masses struggle to access basic educational resources, the offspring of the powerful are immersed in environments filled with knowledge and opportunity. This creates a cycle where the elite remain entrenched in their status, perpetuating a system that favors lineage over merit. Catering to the needs and desires of this elite class, the North Korean regime has created an atmosphere where loyalty and service to the state are rewarded with material benefits. This atmosphere fosters a culture of competition among the elite themselves as they vie for the attention of the ruling family. Public displays of loyalty, extravagant gifts, and significant contributions to the state highlight this dynamic, a race not just for survival, but for affluence amid stark inequality. Surveillance plays a fundamental role in sustaining this hidden lifestyle. The elite must navigate a treacherous landscape, constantly aware that the eyes of the regime monitor their actions. Any misstep can lead to severe consequences, making allegiance to the Kim regime paramount. This fear shapes their lives, dictating choices made not from desire, but from a need for survival. As we peel back the layers of North Korea, we uncover a society of contrast, a hidden elite lifestyle that, though shrouded in secrecy, paints a vivid picture of the disparities that exist. This stark division serves as a reminder of the complexities within a nation often seen as monolithic. The privileged few dance in luxury while many, unbeknownst to them, endure hardship and deprivation. The tale of the hidden elite is not just a story of wealth, but a reflection on the broader themes of power, loyalty, and the human experience, in a world where realities diverge dramatically between the elite and the ordinary. Exploring this hidden lifestyle provides us with an insightful glance into the nuances of privilege and adversity, ultimately inviting us to reflect on the deeper meanings of equality, loyalty, and the human condition itself. The Korean Demilitarized Zone, often referred to as the DMZ, is a fascinating and complex area that has captured the imagination of many people around the world. Established in 1953 following the Korean War, the DMZ serves as a buffer zone between North and South Korea. Spanning approximately 250 kilometers in length and about 4 kilometers in width, this region is not only significant from a historical and political standpoint, but is also home to unique ecosystems and secrets. Within the DMZ, there are certain areas known as inaccessible zones, completely off-limits to outsiders. These zones are shrouded in secrecy and have become points of curiosity for historians, journalists, and travelers. What lies within these restricted areas remains largely unknown, leading to speculation and intrigue. These zones are typically heavily guarded, with military presence ensuring that access is limited to authorized personnel only. The inaccessible zones often contain remnants of the past, including abandoned buildings, military installations, and even ghost towns that were once vibrant communities. Over the years, as human presence has diminished, nature has begun to reclaim these areas. The juxtaposition of military structures and wildlife fosters a unique habitat where animals thrive away from human activity. Some environmentalists argue that this absence of human interference has created an unexpected sanctuary for rare and endangered species. In addition to the wildlife, the DMZ is known for its stunning natural beauty. Lush forests, wetlands, and rivers provide a striking contrast to the stark military installations that punctuate the landscape. The presence of these inaccessible areas has turned the DMZ into a place of interest for conservationists. They see the potential for ecological study and preservation in a region that has remained untouched by industrial development for decades. But why are these areas declared off-limits? The reasons are complex and tied intricately to the political situation on the Korean peninsula. The DMZ symbolizes the ongoing tension between North and South Korea. It serves as a reminder of the division that has lasted for generations and the careful balancing act of diplomacy and defense. Within these zones, many see echoes of unresolved conflicts, making them sensitive sites that reflect the two nations' history. Another aspect that piques interest is the secrecy surrounding the military operations and strategies conducted in these areas. Various surveillance activities, intelligence gathering, and training exercises take place within the DMZ, away from prying eyes. The lack of transparency means that outsiders are left to wonder about the nature of the operations in these zones. This air of mystery adds to the allure, leading to discussions and debates about what actually occurs behind those guarded gates. Tourists visiting the DMZ are often invited to take guided tours of certain areas, but they remain firmly outside the inaccessible zones. These tours provide a glimpse into the history of the conflict, featuring sites such as the Third Infiltration Tunnel, which North Korea allegedly dug to invade the South. Still, the mysteries of the inaccessible areas loom large in the minds of visitors keen to learn more about the history and current dynamics of the peninsula. Additionally, the stories and experiences of those who once lived in these areas add a human dimension to the narrative. Some families were separated when the division occurred, and the tales of lost homes and communities enrich the historical context of the DMZ. These narratives often evoke a sense of longing and reflection, drawing attention to the impact of political decisions on everyday lives. Art and culture have also found their way into the discourse surrounding the DMZ and its inaccessible zones. Artists, writers, and filmmakers often grapple with themes of division, loss, and hope, using the DMZ as a backdrop. Exhibitions, films, and literature explore the contradictions and complexities of life in a divided region, challenging perspectives and deepening understanding. This artistic examination emphasizes the emotional narrative intertwined with the physical reality of the DMZ. As the situation on the Korean peninsula evolves, conversations around these inaccessible zones continue to change. Activism for peace and reunification has gained momentum, fueled by the hope that one day, the barriers that separate these two nations can be bridged. Dreamers and diplomats envision a future where cooperation and understanding might replace division, leaving behind the ghosts of the past that haunt these silent zones. The inaccessible areas of the DMZ represent a confluence of history, ecology, and human emotion. With so much remaining unexplored and undiscovered, these zones offer a complex tapestry woven from threads of secrecy, wildlife conservation, and the enduring impact of human conflict. As the world watches and waits, the story of the DMZ unfolds, a story rich with tension, beauty, and the possibility of transformation. In every tree-covered hill and abandoned outpost lies a chapter waiting to be revealed, a secret waiting to be shared as the world looks towards a hopeful future in a once divided land. The coal mines of Pukchang, located in North Korea, are a significant part of the country's industrial landscape, despite the challenges that they encompass. Pukchang is known primarily for its vast coal reserves, which play a crucial role in supplying energy and fuel for various industrial processes within the nation. However, beneath this surface of resource availability lies a complex web of labor issues and environmental concerns that continuously shape the mining operations. The region of Pukchang is situated in South Pyongyang province, an area rich in geological formations that produce high-quality bituminous coal. This type of coal is particularly valuable due to its higher energy content compared to lignite or subbituminous coal. The Pukchang coal mines have, therefore, become an essential component in North Korea's efforts to maintain self-sufficiency in energy production, especially in a country where international sanctions have made access to outside resources limited. While coal mining may seem like a straightforward industry driven by demand, the reality in Pukchang is far more complex. Labor conditions within these mines draw attention for their severity. Workers often endure long hours in challenging environments, which pose significant health risks. There are accounts of insufficient safety measures that heighten the risk of accidents and injuries. Additionally, workers do not receive proper training on safety protocols, which could mitigate these dangers. The labor force in Pukchang's coal mines is predominantly comprised of individuals from various regions of North Korea, some of whom may be assigned to the mines as part of government policies for labor distribution. There are limited opportunities for workers to negotiate their conditions, as the state controls labor rights and unions. This lack of representation raises concerns over the exploitation of miners, who often work under intense pressure to meet production quotas. Amidst these labor issues, environmental challenges also loom large over the Pukchang coal mining operations. The extraction and processing of coal typically have detrimental effects on the surrounding landscape. Deforestation, soil erosion, and water pollution are just some of the ecological costs associated with mining activities. When coal is mined and transported, it often results in dust and other pollutants being released into the air, leading to poor air quality that affects both miners and nearby communities. The situation is made more complicated by the North Korean government's prioritization of coal production in the face of looming energy shortages. This drive has led to an increase in mining activity without adequate consideration for environmental sustainability. The deforestation necessary for mining operations can disrupt local ecosystems, affecting wildlife and biodiversity. Despite the known labor and environmental issues, obtaining accurate information about the Pukchang coal mines is challenging. North Korea is known for its secrecy concerning internal affairs and its limited interaction with external entities. This opacity means that data regarding workers' conditions and environmental policies are often anecdotal or come from defector testimonies. Furthermore, international perspectives often highlight the global implications of North Korea's coal mining activities. The coal extracted from Pukchang contributes to the domestic market, but it has also been involved in export controversies. Reports suggest that some coal from North Korea has found its way to international markets, defying sanctions and raising concerns over complicity from foreign businesses. This shadow economy complicates the already intricate landscape of labor and environmental advocacy within North Korea. To foster a more collaborative conversation about the Pukchang coal mines, it is essential to focus on sustainable development practices. Integrating eco-friendly technologies into the mining processes could potentially mitigate some of the adverse environmental impacts. Moreover, improving labor rights and conditions could lead not only to better health outcomes for workers, but also to enhanced productivity and morale. As the world grapples with the challenges posed by climate change and energy demands, practices in places like Pukchang will come under increasing scrutiny. Sustainable mining and responsible resource management could set a positive precedent, showing that it is possible to balance energy needs with environmental stewardship and human rights. At its core, the story of the Pukchang coal mines is not merely about coal itself, but also about the people and the environment intertwined with this industry. While Pukchang offers valuable resources, the broader implications of coal mining highlight the necessity of addressing issues related to labor rights and environmental safety. By raising awareness and seeking solutions, there may be hope for a more equitable approach to resource management, benefiting both the miners and their environment, while paving the way for future generations. In the heart of North Korea lies a shadowy organization known as Department 39. This little-known branch of the ruling Workers' Party is shrouded in secrecy and intrigue. It serves a critical, though often overlooked, function within the tightly controlled state. Unlike typical government departments, Department 39 operates far from the public eye, engaging in activities that are as clandestine as they are controversial. Imagine a world where the lines between the legal and illegal blur seamlessly. Department 39 embodies this concept, as it is primarily tasked with generating revenue for the North Korean regime through a variety of covert means. This can include everything from smuggling goods across borders to facilitating drug trafficking operations. The aim is to support the political elite and maintain the regime's grip on power, while also ensuring that the government has the funds it needs to function. One of the fascinating aspects of Department 39 is its network of international operations. The organization is believed to have branches or affiliates spread across various countries. North Korea has long maintained diplomatic relationships, and through these connections, Department 39 has been able to disguise its illicit activities. For instance, you may find a seemingly legitimate business operating in a far-off country, but it could be a front for more questionable dealings designed to funnel money back to Pyongyang. Another method used by Department 39 involves a myriad of cyber operations. In an age where information can easily be transferred digitally, cybercrime has become a lucrative venture. The department reportedly employs skilled hackers who engage in everything from bank heists to cryptocurrency scams. These operations have significant implications not just for North Korea, but for global financial systems as well. The impact of such actions can be felt worldwide, affecting economies and banking institutions. Through its various operations, Department 39 is known to have generated vast sums of money over the years. This revenue is particularly crucial, given the sanctions imposed on North Korea by the international community. These sanctions, aimed at curtailing the nation's nuclear ambitions, have made it increasingly difficult for the regime to secure legitimate funds. Consequently, organizations like Department 39 play a vital role in maintaining the status quo. Interestingly, Department 39 also ventures into more palatable forms of revenue generation. For example, it has been reported that the department controls various legal businesses within North Korea. These include restaurants, hotels, and even joint ventures with foreign investors. While such front businesses may appear legitimate, they often serve a dual purpose, to provide profits for the state while also facilitating more questionable activities. One cannot discuss Department 39 without mentioning the figures who operate within its ranks. The leadership of this organization is known to be both secretive and powerful, often composed of high-ranking officials who have a vested interest in maintaining the regime's control. Their influence extends beyond just financial matters, as they are also involved in decision-making processes that impact North Korea's foreign relations and military strategies. However, the question remains, what does the future hold for Department 39? As global scrutiny of North Korea intensifies, the department's operations may become increasingly difficult to sustain. Countries are growing more adept at combating cybercrime, and heightened sanctions could restrict the avenues through which Department 39 traditionally generated funds. This evolving landscape presents a challenge for the organization, forcing it to adapt in order to survive. Moreover, the increasing collaboration between nations to share intelligence on illicit activities may hinder Department 39's ability to operate unnoticed. As the world becomes more interconnected, the complexities of tracking and dismantling these secret networks grow. Yet, amid the uncertainties, one thing remains clear. Department 39 will likely continue to be a critical player in the financial underbelly of North Korea. With its wide-reaching network and innovative methods, this covert branch exemplifies how clandestine operations can have ripple effects in the broader geopolitical landscape. The dance of international relations, laws, and the pursuit of power plays out on this stage, where the actions of one organization can have profound implications for many. Though much of the information surrounding Department 39 remains speculative, the intrigue it generates is undeniable. It invites us to ponder the lengths to which a government might go to secure its future, the ethical considerations of its actions, and the repercussions that arise from such secretive operations. As we venture further into the age of information, the story of Department 39 serves as a stark reminder of the complexities embedded within global politics and the ongoing struggle between secrecy and transparency. In the secretive, often misunderstood landscape of North Korea, one term stands out for its significance in the daily lives of many citizens: Jangmadang. These markets, often referred to as black markets, have emerged as vital centers of commerce and social interaction, despite the country's stringent regulations and limitations on free trade. For those examining the complexities of North Korean society, understanding the role of Jangmadang can provide fascinating insights into the resilience and resourcefulness of the people. Jangmadang markets began to take shape in the 1990s, particularly in the wake of severe economic hardship and famine. As state-controlled rations dwindled, citizens were compelled to seek alternative means to meet their basic needs. Individuals started to set up informal markets, selling everything from food items to household goods, clothing, and even electronics. Over the years, these markets have grown in number and importance, effectively creating a parallel economy that operates outside the official parameters established by the government. Walking through a Jangmadang, you will encounter a cacophony of sights, sounds, and scents, creating a vibrant microcosm of everyday life. Stalls overflow with vegetables, fruits, dried goods, and freshly made snacks, with vendors passionately bargaining for the best prices. The atmosphere is lively, with a unique blend of camaraderie and competition as vendors exchange pleasantries while competing for customers. It is common to see people huddled together, sharing stories and laughter amidst the hustle and bustle, illustrating how these markets foster community ties and relationships, reinforcing the social fabric of local life. But what drives the success of Jangmadang? The answer lies in the creativity and adaptability of the North Korean people. Many vendors take great pride in their products, carefully curating selections that cater to the tastes and needs of their customers. From popular local dishes to imported goods, the diversity of items on offer reflects a blend of cultural influences and the desires of the populace. For example, you might find Korean rice cakes alongside Chinese snacks, showcasing the cross-border exchanges that continue to flourish despite political tensions. The role of women in Jangmadang is particularly noteworthy. A significant majority of the vendors are women, many of whom are tasked with supporting their families in a challenging economic environment. This shift has empowered many female entrepreneurs, allowing them to take charge of their finances and create sustainable livelihoods. As they navigate the complexities of market dynamics, these women exemplify determination and resourcefulness. They often develop innovative strategies to attract customers, such as organizing product displays or participating in seasonal promotions. While Jangmadang markets have become essential for day-to-day living, they have not evolved without facing challenges from the government. Officials have attempted to crack down on these informal markets, raiding vendors and confiscating goods in a bid to maintain control over the economy. However, despite the risks, many individuals continue to operate these markets, demonstrating the resilience of the human spirit. People have learned to read the political landscape, adjusting their tactics and operations to minimize government interference while still serving the needs of their communities. Another fascinating aspect of Jangmadang is the emergence of various goods that reflect changing societal values and desires. For instance, as the global influence of technology grows, North Koreans have begun to embrace cheap electronics, ranging from mobile phones to USB drives that carry foreign media. These items often enter through unofficial channels and have transformed how people consume information and entertainment, introducing new ideas and perspectives into a largely isolated society. It is also intriguing to observe the informal currency system that has developed within Jangmadang. Although the official North Korean won is recognized, many transactions occur in foreign currency, notably the US dollar or Chinese yuan. This phenomenon reflects the complexities of trade and the influence of outside sources on the North Korean economy. Many people are keenly aware of the fluctuating value of different currencies, leading them to adapt their buying and selling strategies to maximize their gains. Furthermore, Jangmadang can be seen as a symbol of resistance against centralized control. In a society where freedom is often curtailed, the act of participating in these markets signifies a rebellion against limitations imposed by the state. Citizens find ways to assert their autonomy, showcasing a form of everyday agency that challenges the status quo. As we step back to examine the Jangmadang markets, it becomes clear that they play a critical role in sustaining livelihoods, fostering community, and providing a glimpse into the evolving North Korean experience. They encapsulate not only the struggles of everyday life, but also the innovative spirit of a people striving for better circumstances. For those interested in understanding the intricate tapestry of life in North Korea, the Jangmadang approach offers an eye-opening perspective into the resilience and adaptability that characterize the human experience in even the most restrictive environments. Through these markets, the voice of the people can be heard, carving out spaces of commerce, fellowship, and hope amidst the hardships that define their existence. Mount Kumgang, known for its breathtaking beauty and cultural significance, has long been a place of fascination for travelers and nature enthusiasts. Nestled on the eastern coast of the Korean peninsula, this stunning mountain range is celebrated for its steep cliffs, lush forests, and serene waterfalls. However, beyond the well-trodden trails and scenic vistas accessible to tourists, there lies a hidden world that remains mostly unknown, particularly to those from outside North Korea. The mountain's stunning beauty is complemented by its deep cultural and historical roots dating back centuries. Revered in Korean folklore, Mount Kumgang has been mentioned in poems and tales as a symbol of national pride. As you explore the accessible areas, you discover the rich tapestry of Korean history infused in its landscape. But in this picturesque setting, secrets abound, especially in the remote sections that few get to witness. The North Korean elite have exclusive access to parts of Mount Kumgang that are kept hidden from the eyes of the general public. These areas are characterized by their pristine natural surroundings and untouched landscapes. They feature mystical rock formations that tower majestically against the sky, serene lakes that reflect the surrounding mountains, and dense forests teeming with wildlife. These picturesque and peaceful retreats are well-kept secrets, usually reserved for high-ranking officials and their families, providing them with a private escape from the bustling realities of their duties. In these secluded parts, the harmony of nature flourishes. One might find unique flora and fauna that are rare elsewhere on the peninsula, thriving in these untouched habitats. The presence of extensive trails and paths suggests that while they are hidden, they have not gone unnoticed. Who knows what history and stories these trails could tell if they were allowed to speak? Locals often recount tales of strange lights seen at night, or sounds echoing through the mountains, sparks of folklore that stir the imagination and elevate the mystery surrounding this majestic place. Furthermore, some say that among the elite areas of Mount Keumgang, There are locations where secret rituals and gatherings take place, concealed from the public. These gatherings, steeped in tradition, reportedly involve ceremonies seeking blessings from the spirits believed to inhabit the mountains. Imagine, for a moment, a gathering of individuals dressed in traditional attire, surrounded by nature's beauty, sharing stories, laughter, and the wisdom of generations. This scene illustrates the generational connection to the land that transcends politics or borders, merging spirituality with nature in the most profound way. There are also whispers of scenic viewpoints that reveal breathtaking panoramas of the surrounding landscape, draped in silence and beauty. Castles of clouds sometimes blanket these hidden terrains, enhancing the magical feel of the area. One can almost envision the ethereal quality of the air, filled with the sense of pine and damp earth after a refreshing rain, creating an inviting atmosphere that beckons one to pause and reflect. Interestingly, certain legends claim that sacred springs are found in these hidden areas, reputed to have healing properties. Local lore tells of explorers who stumbled upon these mystical waters, claiming miraculous recoveries attributed to their enchanting essence. Imagine a hidden spring surrounded by rare flowers and whispering trees, where the only sounds are the gentle trickle of water and the soft rustling of leaves, creating a sanctuary of peace and serenity. While the natural beauty of Mount Kumgang is well known, its concealed parts add a layer of intrigue to its reputation. Just beyond the easily navigable slopes, a different world thrives, a world rich with untold stories and untouched terrains waiting in silence. The contrast between the visible and the hidden signifies more than just geographic separation. It embodies the essence of mystery that surrounds places often shrouded in secrecy. As one delves deep into the allure of Mount Kumgang's lesser-known regions, it becomes clear that this majestic mountain range holds more than just stunning landscapes. It cradles stories of human experiences and the complexities of life in Korea. It serves as a reminder of the beauty found in nature and the hidden treasures waiting to be discovered, one path at a time. In the end, Mount Kumgang presents an invitation to explore beyond the ordinary. The hidden parts of this magnificent mountain continue to captivate those who seek to understand its charm fully. Each rock, each tree, and each whisper of the wind carries with it the essence of history and enchantment, beckoning the curious spirit to uncover the sealed chapters of its narrative. For all its grandeur and mystique, Mount Kumgang remains a testament to the endless wonders of nature and the secrets it guards, waiting patiently for those willing to explore its depths. In the world of international trade and economics, the concept of special economic zones, or SEZs, has gained considerable attention for their unique ability to foster development and attract investment. These zones provide specific locations within a country that offer distinct regulatory environments compared to the rest of the nation. One particularly intriguing example of this is the Kaesong industrial complex in North Korea, which embodies the complexities and dualities associated with SEZs. Special economic zones were initially developed in China during the late 20th century, aimed at boosting economic growth through market-oriented reforms. These zones often feature incentives such as tax holidays, less stringent regulations, and streamlined customs procedures, making them attractive to foreign investors. As a result, countries around the world have adopted similar frameworks, each adapting the basic concept to fit their unique economic landscapes. The Kaesong Industrial Complex, situated just north of the demilitarized zone separating North and South Korea, provides an exceptional case study of an SEZ. Established in 2002, this area was intended to encourage cooperation between the two Koreas through industrial collaboration. South Korean companies were permitted to set up manufacturing operations, benefiting from lower labor costs while providing jobs for North Korean workers. This situation created a rare bridge, facilitating interaction across a heavily militarized border, and offered a glimpse of economic synergy in a region often characterized by tension and hostility. However, the dynamics that govern Kaesong are shrouded in complexity. The industrial complex operates under strict control by the North Korean government, which manages labor and regulated operations. While the initial aim was to foster economic cooperation, military tensions and political disputes have turned the region into a focal point for broader geopolitical issues. Over the years, the relationship between North and South Korea has fluctuated, affecting the operations within the zone and raising questions about stability for investors. One can think of SEZs like a walled garden. While they can be beautiful and vibrant ecosystems, they are enclosed and subject to outside forces. In the case of Kaesong, the enclosed space represents not only opportunities for economic growth, but also the constraints imposed by North Korea's political regime. These restrictions can lead to an unpredictable environment for businesses that operate there, illustrating the delicate balance between prosperity and control. In addition to political complexities, the nature of labor relations in Kaesong presents another layer of intrigue. North Korean workers in the industrial complex are often portrayed as a symbol of the regime's attempt to harness foreign investment without sacrificing political control. While these workers earn a wage that is higher than the national average, their labor conditions and workplace rights remain topics of scrutiny. Investors are often left to grapple with ethical considerations regarding labor standards and human rights, complicating the allure of cost-efficient production. The intertwining of economic activity and political control illustrates the broader challenges facing SEZs globally. Investors must navigate not only market forces, but also the political landscapes that impact regulations, labor rights, and the overall business climate. Similar examples can be found in various regions, such as the free trade zones in the Middle East, where businesses thrive amid ongoing conflicts and restrictions. It's worth noting the impact of global economics on such zones. In many cases, SEZs like Kaesong are susceptible to wider economic trends, shifting market demands, and international relations. As countries reposition themselves on the global stage, the fate of these zones may similarly change. Investors must monitor both regional developments and global economic shifts, as these factors can trigger dramatic changes in the operational environment. Despite these challenges, the essential function of SEZs in boosting economic activity cannot be understated. They often serve as testbeds for economic reforms, providing invaluable insights into the potential for growth and development, even in challenging political contexts. The success or failure of these zones can inform broader economic strategies for nations around the world, revealing the delicate dance between liberalization and regulation. As we look towards the future, the evolution of SEZs like Kaesong may hold the key to understanding how nations navigate the complex interplay of economics and politics. The ongoing balancing act of fostering growth while maintaining control will continue to shape the landscape of global trade. Countries will have to innovate and adapt, learning from both the successes and failures of existing economic zones. In conclusion, the topic of special economic zones is a fascinating one, steeped in mystery and opportunity. The Kaesong Industrial Complex stands as a testament to the possibilities that exist at the intersection of economic ambition and political reality. As we delve deeper into the world of SEZs, it becomes clear that the potential for growth comes hand in hand with a myriad of complexities, challenges, and fascinating narratives waiting to be explored. Each zone carries with it a story of hope, struggle, and the relentless pursuit of progress in the unlikeliest of circumstances. The Keumgang tourist region is a captivating area situated in the northern part of South Korea, close to the border with North Korea. This unique region has seen its share of change throughout the years, marked by a rich history and a complex relationship between the two Koreas. Once a beacon of hope for cross-border cooperation, the area now finds itself somewhat isolated, enveloped in a shroud of political tensions. Keumgang Mountain, known for its stunning natural beauty, has long been regarded as a symbol of peace and unity between the North and South. The striking granite peaks rise dramatically against the sky, with lush forests and serene rivers creating a picturesque landscape. It is easy to see why this region has drawn visitors for centuries, with its hiking trails offering breathtaking views and opportunities to experience the serenity of nature. In the late 1990s, a new era began for the Keumgang tourist region, when the South Korean government opened it up for tourism, allowing citizens from the South to travel to this historically significant area. This initiative provided opportunities for people to connect across the border, sharing experiences, and even fostering friendships. The region became a focal point for reconciliation efforts, attracting tourists eager to explore its historical and cultural significance, including ancient temples and sacred sites. One of the most famous attractions in the region is Heedong Temple, an ancient site nestled among the mountains. Visitors are often awestruck by its intricate architecture and the tranquil atmosphere that surrounds it. The temple serves as a reminder of the region's deep-rooted history and plays an essential role in the cultural landscape of Korea. Additionally, the breathtaking scenery with its diverse flora and fauna offers a chance for visitors to immerse themselves in the region's natural beauty. However, the political climate greatly shifted over the years, particularly with rising tensions between the North and South. The tours to Keumgang were suspended in 2008 after an incident involving a South Korean tourist tragically lost her life at the hands of North Korean guards while visiting the area. Since that moment, the region has remained largely closed to tourists, turning from a symbol of hope and cooperation into a poignant reminder of the divide between the two nations. The Keumgang area also includes the famous Diamond Mountain, which has been praised for its unparalleled beauty, characterized by its jagged peaks and stunning vistas. Stories of ancient folklore add depth to its landscape, with tales of spirits and deities believed to inhabit these majestic mountains. These narratives not only enhance the allure of the natural surroundings, but also showcase the cultural heritage connected to this historical site. Despite the closure, the spirit of the Keumgang tourist region lives on in the memories and stories of those who have visited. The region has an undeniable aura that evokes awe and wonder, inspiring dreams of a future where barriers might be lessened and peaceful interactions can flourish once more. The mountains stand as silent witnesses to the ebb and flow of history, holding stories of hope, struggle, and resilience. There is also the historic significance of the region, where ancient artifacts and sites tell the story of the Korean people and their enduring culture. Rock carvings, temple ruins, and ancient trails can be found scattered throughout the landscape, providing a glimpse into a time when this area thrived as a meeting place for travelers and traders. The remnants of the past add layers to the experience of anyone willing to explore the history encapsulated within the natural beauty of the mountains and forests. As visitors look out over the horizon, they can envision the future of the Keumgang region. There are aspirations for revived tourism, reconciliation, and cooperation that ripple through discussions among those who long for a better relationship between the two Koreas. The hope remains that someday the beautifully rugged landscape of the Keumgang tourist region will once again welcome visitors, not just from the south, but from the north as well, promoting unity and shared experiences over division. In this way, the Keumgang region symbolizes much more than just a stunning natural wonder. It represents the complex history of a nation and the enduring hope for peace and understanding. The breathtaking views and rich cultural heritage invite a sense of contemplation and reflection, providing space for imagination to flourish about what could be. The mountains stand firm, their silence lending wisdom to those who marvel at their beauty, hoping for a future where cooperation can thrive and new stories can be written within this extraordinary landscape. In the heart of Pyongyang, North Korea, lies a fascinating and enigmatic institution known as the Mansudae Studio. This prominent art studio is not just a center for creativity. It serves as an important site for producing significant pieces that reflect the country's political and cultural narratives. Established in 1959, Mansudae has evolved into North Korea's largest art studio and is recognized for its distinctive and often grandiose artworks. The studio is renowned for its varied output that includes paintings, sculptures, and murals, all intricately tied to the ideology and legacy of the North Korean regime. Artists at Mansudae carefully craft pieces that glorify the nation's leaders, celebrate historical events, and promote the country's socialist ideals. This art, often characterized by its bold colors and striking imagery, serves as a visual narrative of North Korea's identity and values. The works frequently feature scenes of collective labor, military might, and idealized representations of everyday life within the country. One striking aspect of the Mansudae Art Studio is its commitment to producing works that are steeped in symbolism. The imagery often incorporates traditional Korean motifs alongside contemporary themes, effectively blending the old with the new. For instance, a painting of a farmer tending to a field might be surrounded by mountains representing strength and stability, or a mural depicting a harmonious community might be infused with elements that highlight social unity. Each brushstroke and detail is purposefully designed to evoke a sense of pride and loyalty among its viewers. Interestingly, Mansudae Art Studio does not solely cater to the domestic audience. Its artworks are also produced for international sale, showcasing North Korean artistry to the world. These pieces often reflect the broader themes of global socialism and international solidarity, making them appealing to a niche market that appreciates politically themed art. The studio's international endeavors can be considered a calculated strategy to engage with foreign countries and present a more palatable image of North Korea. Despite its outward projection of confidence, the Mansudae Art Studio operates under a cloak of mystery. Little is known about the individual artists, as the North Korean regime prioritizes collective identity over personal recognition. Artists may receive little more than a basic allowance for their work, with the state taking full ownership of the art produced. Consequently, very few artists can gain recognition outside the studio, and those who do often face restrictions on their creative freedom. Perhaps one of the most impressive undertakings of the Mansudae Art Studio is its monumental sculptures and large-scale installations. These pieces, often positioned in public spots throughout Pyongyang, are designed to inspire and instill patriotism among citizens and visitors alike. One such installation is the celebrated Cholima statue, symbolizing North Korean resilience and the rapid development of the nation. Such works contribute to the narrative of strength that the North Korean government seeks to promote. Additionally, the artists at Mansudae often take part in the creation of themed exhibitions that align with national celebrations. These exhibitions showcase their highest achievements and reflect the prevailing political messages, serving both as a celebration of art and an exercise in propaganda. Here, the line between artistic expression and political messaging blurs, with each exhibition seeking to convey a particular narrative that reinforces the regime's ideals. The Mansudae Art Studio also reflects a unique fusion of traditional art techniques and contemporary methods. The artists use a variety of materials, from classic oils and canvas to the modern quick-dry paints that allow for more dynamic creations. The melding of these different approaches results in artwork that is both timeless and relevant, capturing the attention of various audiences. As we delve deeper into the world of the Mansudae Art Studio, we uncover the interplay between art and politics in North Korea. The artwork produced here is more than mere decoration. It is deeply entwined with the stories and messages of the nation. Each piece bears witness to the history and aspirations of the North Korean people, serving as a visual representation of their shared identity. In conclusion, the Mansudae Art Studio stands as a testament to both the versatility of artistic expression and the complexities of political narratives in North Korea. The studio's output, from paintings, sculptures, and murals, to its impact on domestic and international levels, provides a compelling insight into how art can be used as a tool for influence and representation. As we think about the artworks created within this studio, we are reminded of the power of creativity and its ability to shape perspectives, communicate ideas, and forge connections across cultural boundaries. In this intriguing space, every piece tells a story, every color holds a meaning, and every artist contributes to a larger dialogue that extends far beyond the walls of Pyongyang. North Korea's nuclear program has long been shrouded in secrecy and speculation, captivating global attention and concern. The country's journey into nuclear capability began in the mid-20th century, stemming from a combination of historical events, geopolitical struggles, and a desire for military deterrence. Understanding this complex narrative requires delving into the various layers of secrecy and strategy that mark North Korea's approach to nuclear development. In the aftermath of the Korean War, which ended in 1953, North Korea sought to strengthen its military position. The country looked to Soviet support and technology to develop its scientific and technological capabilities. This period laid the groundwork for what would eventually evolve into a robust nuclear program. By aligning itself with Soviet ambitions and expertise, North Korea initiated a quest for nuclear technology that would serve both defensive and offensive purposes. One of the pivotal moments in the establishment of North Korea's nuclear ambitions was the signing of the Treaty on the Non-Proliferation of Nuclear Weapons in 1968. While North Korea initially committed to non-proliferation, internal and external pressures soon motivated a secretive pursuit of nuclear capabilities. By the 1980s, North Korea had begun to develop its own reactor and enrichment capabilities, marking a shift towards active nuclear development. Public knowledge about the North Korean nuclear program is often incomplete. Many details are tucked away in classified documents and intelligence reports. The country's leadership has intentionally created an aura of mystery around its nuclear activities, which serves multiple purposes. Firstly, this secrecy aims to deter adversaries by creating uncertainty about the true extent and reliability of their nuclear arsenal. Potential opponents cannot gauge the full capacity or readiness of North Korea's nuclear weapons, fostering caution and strategic ambiguity on the global stage. In addition, the opaque nature of its nuclear program has allowed North Korea to manipulate international relations. By showcasing the potential for nuclear development, North Korea has sought to gain leverage in diplomatic negotiations, demanding concessions and support, while at the same time expressing a commitment to denuclearization. This manipulation is crucial as the nation navigates complex relationships with global powers. The difficulties of acquiring precise information about North Korea's capabilities are further compounded by its reliance on clandestine operations. This includes extensive efforts to hide research facilities, such as underground complexes designed to evade observation satellites and intelligence efforts. Manufacturing and testing equipment are often shielded from the prying eyes of international observers, complicating any attempts to gauge the capabilities of its nuclear project accurately. Moreover, North Korea's nuclear arsenal is believed to encompass a variety of weapons, including short-range and intercontinental ballistic missiles. Yet, the specifics of these weapons remain partially obscured. For instance, the latest missile tests have indicated advancements in their ballistic technology, but the true reliability and effectiveness of such systems are often subject to conjecture. The international response has also been impacted by the enigma of North Korea's nuclear program. Countries around the globe are forced to balance their approach between denouncing the program and engaging diplomatically. Sanctions and diplomatic efforts have arisen in response to the perceived threats posed by Pyongyang's nuclear ambitions. The ongoing dialogue, often punctuated by tension and hostility, reflects the challenges of addressing a security concern that is difficult to navigate due to the shadows of secrecy. Regional dynamics add another layer to this narrative. North Korea's nuclear program is not only a national concern, but an issue that involves neighboring countries, particularly South Korea and Japan. Their security strategies are greatly influenced by the unpredictable nature of North Korea's actions. This leads to an arms race in the region, with countries enhancing their military capabilities as a countermeasure to the perceived threats. In addition, the constant drumbeat of potential negotiations draws attention to the impact of North Korea's nuclear program on global diplomacy. High-profile summits with world leaders have captured media and public interest, yet the outcomes remain uncertain. The veil of secrecy makes it tough to predict whether any agreement reached will be fulfilled or if it will merely serve as a temporary pause in a long-standing conflict. Rounding out this intricate narrative, the plight of everyday North Koreans adds a human dimension to the nuclear program's ramifications. While the government pours resources into advancing its nuclear capabilities, the socioeconomic challenges faced by ordinary citizens remain severe. Images of a nation with grand nuclear ambitions juxtaposed against a backdrop of citizen hardships stimulate thought about the ethics and priorities of governance. In conclusion, the distinct opacity surrounding North Korea's nuclear program represents a multifaceted security enigma, steeped in a historical backdrop and dictated by complex geopolitical realities. The interplay of secrecy, regional security, global diplomacy, and internal dynamics creates a rich and absorbing narrative. As the world watches with bated breath, these intricacies continue to shape our understanding of a nation that has kept its nuclear ambitions in the shadows, evoking both concern and curiosity on the global stage. The Songbun caste system is a unique and complex social structure found in North Korea, playing a significant role in the lives of its citizens. Unlike other caste systems across the world, which may be based on occupation or social status, Songbun is fundamentally tied to a person's family background and is deeply embedded within the political ideologies of the nation. This internal caste system regulates access to resources, privileges, and even basic human rights, creating a significant divide among the people. At its core, Songbun categorizes individuals into three main groups: the core, the wavering, and the hostile. The core class is composed of individuals deemed loyal to the regime, typically those whose families have long supported the ruling party or contributed to the country's leadership. These individuals enjoy significant privileges, including access to better education, employment opportunities, housing, and healthcare. A person from a core family is more likely to secure a prestigious job in government or as a professor, thereby continuing the cycle of advantage for their descendants. In contrast, the wavering class consists of individuals whose loyalty to the regime is uncertain. This group includes families that may have shown some resistance to the government or are considered less ideologically aligned. Members of the wavering class experience significant disadvantages. They may struggle to find good jobs or live in poorer neighborhoods. Their access to healthcare and education is also limited, as they often find themselves on the fringes of society, battling against a system that treats them with suspicion. The most marginalized group, the hostile class, consists of individuals and families deemed treacherous or counter-revolutionary. This class often includes those who have been caught in minor offenses against the state, as well as descendants of those who have outright opposed the regime. Being labeled as hostile can lead to severe consequences, including imprisonment, forced labor, or even exile to labor camps. The stigma attached to this classification can haunt individuals throughout their lives, affecting their opportunities and relationships. The origins of Songbun can be traced back to the formative years of North Korea, when the leadership sought to determine whom to trust based on past allegiances. This has created a society where breaks from generational loyalties are exceedingly rare, as the system rigorously enforces its judgments. The influence of one's family background extends to nearly every aspect of life in North Korea, including educational prospects. Schools, particularly higher education institutions, tend to favor students from the core class, and those from wavering or hostile backgrounds may find it challenging to gain admission to top universities. In daily life, the impact of Songbun is often subtle yet omnipresent. For instance, when applying for jobs, individuals may be asked about their family history, and a negative response can lead to immediate disqualification, regardless of a candidate's qualifications or skills. Social interactions, too, are influenced by Songbun, as friendships and romantic relationships might be scrutinized regarding one's background. The fear of ostracization encourages people to conform to the expectations of their Songbun classification, reinforcing social divisions. Furthermore, the government actively maintains the Songbun system to reinforce its power. Celebrating the lineage and loyalty of core families, while delegitimizing others, becomes a tool for social control. Media representations often glorify individuals from the core class, portraying them as virtuous and patriotic, while those from other classes remain largely invisible or are depicted negatively. Public purges and crackdowns reveal the regime's reliance on Songbun to root out any potential dissent. When high-profile individuals fall out of favor with the ruling party, their families can suffer disproportionately due to their classification. They may lose access to essential services, or face harsh sanctions that impact their livelihoods. This environment fosters a culture of fear and compliance among citizens, as the threat of punishment acts as a deterrent to any calls for change. The rarity of discussions about Songbun outside of North Korea adds to its mystery. Few outsiders truly understand how deeply this caste system affects everyday life in the country. Humanitarian organizations working in the region have faced obstacles in raising awareness of the issue, as many citizens are reluctant to speak out due to fear of repercussions. As North Korea continues to develop, challenges to the Songbun system may emerge, albeit slowly. The influence of technology, global communications, and eventual interactions with the external world could sow the seeds for change. In the meantime, understanding the intricacies of the Songbun caste system is crucial for comprehending the social dynamics within North Korea and the ongoing struggles of its people. In conclusion, the Songbun caste system is a poignant reflection of how a society can stratify along familial lines, dictating virtually every aspect of an individual's life, from education and employment to social interactions. As the world watches North Korea, recognizing the significance of this internal caste system fosters a deeper understanding of the challenges faced by its citizens, paving the way for more informed discussions on human rights and social justice within this isolated nation. The Kim family, known for their long-standing rule in North Korea, has established a network of secret residences throughout the country. These hidden locations are shrouded in mystery, drawing intrigue from historians, political scientists, and the curious alike. As one explores the history and purpose of these residences, an image emerges of a dynasty that prioritizes security, privacy, and control. One of the most prominent secret residences is the luxurious compound perched in the mountains, often referred to as the, quote, Palace of the People. Nestled away from the prying eyes of the world, this residence serves not just as a home, but as a retreat, where the Kim family can escape the pressures of governance. Designed with extravagance in mind, this location is equipped with state-of-the-art security features, ensuring that only a select few individuals are granted access. The extensive grounds feature beautiful gardens, tranquil lakes, and even private zoos that house exotic animals, adding an air of opulence to the serene surroundings. Another notable residence is the mysterious facility known as the Summer Palace. It is said to be equipped with luxurious amenities, including a private cinema and extensive sport and recreation areas. Here, the leaders of the nation can immerse themselves in their pastimes, away from the weight of their responsibilities. The luxurious lifestyle that such residences afford the Kims stands in stark contrast to the experiences of ordinary citizens. The existence of these hidden havens highlights the deep inequality within North Korean society, where a privileged few enjoy lavish comforts while the majority face economic hardship. The locations of these residences are often a closely guarded secret, known only to a handful of trusted aides. The extreme secrecy surrounding these buildings serves multiple purposes. It provides the Kim family with a sense of security, ensuring that their movements are unpredictable, which is essential for both personal safety and political strategy. Additionally, the obscured location of these residences allows the Kim family to maintain control over the narrative surrounding their lives, weaving a meticulously curated image that is rarely challenged. Visiting these sites can be challenging, even for those within the higher echelons of the government. Rumors persist about the elaborate measures taken to keep these residences under wraps. Access is strictly controlled, and an entire protocol is in place for anyone who may need to enter the premises. The secrecy extends to the personnel who work at these locations, often undergoing rigorous vetting and training, reinforcing the idea that these residences are not just homes, but strategic assets in a tightly run regime. Interestingly, tales circulate about the unique architectural styles of these residences. Influenced by both traditional Korean aesthetics and a modern sensibility, these buildings often feature grand entrances that reflect a sense of grandeur. They are adorned with intricate designs and surrounded by meticulously landscaped gardens that enhance their secluded and elite status. The walls of these residences, metaphorically and literally, hold stories of the family's reign, showcasing a visual history that reflects power and ambition. Beyond lavish living quarters, these hidden residences serve as strategic meeting spots. In a nation where diplomatic relations are tense and international scrutiny is constant, having secretive locations allows for the discussions and negotiations necessary to navigate the complexities of global politics. Whether hosting foreign dignitaries or strategizing with close advisors, these secluded residences serve as vital hubs for decision-making that shapes the future of the country. In addition, there are reports that family traditions play a significant role in these residences, particularly in preserving the legacy of the Kim dynasty. Special holidays are marked with family gatherings at these locations, where generations come together to uphold traditions that emphasize loyalty, strength, and the seemingly divine nature of their rule. These moments are crucial in reinforcing the family's ideology and ensuring that the next generation remains committed to the Kim legacy. As one peels back the layers surrounding these secret sites, it's clear that they are not merely architectural feats or symbols of luxury. They represent a complex interplay of power dynamics where security, tradition, and personal privilege intertwine. The secrecy surrounding these residences fuels speculation and fascination, as they embody both the aspirations and the contradictions of a ruling family entrenched in the midst of geopolitical tensions. In a world that values transparency and openness, these hidden residences challenge conventional ideals, showcasing a different narrative where privacy reigns supreme. While the Kim family's secret residences may be secluded from the public eye, they remain emblematic of the broader themes present in the study of power and leadership throughout history. Their ongoing existence continues to draw attention, serving as a reminder of the intricate layers that define not just a family, but an entire nation under unique leadership. As history unfolds, the stories of these unseen abodes will undoubtedly evolve, revealing more about the enigmatic dynasty that built them and the enduring legacy they aim to protect. The lives of North Korean diplomats abroad are profoundly unique, marked by a blend of diplomatic responsibilities and state-mandated economic activities. In many ways, these individuals serve as the face of their country, representing its interests while navigating a complex web of international relations. Living and working in foreign lands provides them with opportunities that are often far removed from the everyday realities of life in North Korea. However, it also comes with a set of challenges that many may not fully understand. Once assigned to a country, North Korean diplomats live in designated compounds or embassies. These compounds are often heavily fortified and closely monitored, maintaining a clear distinction from the life that surrounds them. The environment is designed to shield them from potential threats, yet it also isolates them from the host country's society. While they may have access to amenities and privileges associated with diplomatic status, their movements are generally restricted and their interaction with locals limited. In many cases, these diplomats are expected to adhere strictly to the customs and regulations imposed by their home government. Engagement in diplomatic work, is at the core of a North Korean diplomat's life. They are tasked with representing North Korea in bilateral discussions and multilateral forums, negotiating treaties, and promoting North Korean policies in the host nation. The political agenda set by the state guides their interactions, influencing everything from discussions with other diplomats to public statements made on behalf of their government. For instance, a diplomat stationed in Europe may be involved in talks regarding sanctions relief while also trying to foster better relations with neighboring countries. Simultaneously, North Korean diplomats are often required to partake in economic activities that benefit their homeland. This can range from seeking investment opportunities to issuing reports on the economic climate in their host countries. The government expects diplomats to use their experiences and insights gained abroad to contribute to North Korea's economic agenda. This dual role demands a fine balance between diplomatic engagement and economic advocacy, and it often leads to long hours filled with both calculated discussion and strategic networking. North Korean diplomats often face a constant pressure to fulfill the expectations set by their superiors back home. They are frequently tasked with achieving specific goals, such as securing trade deals or persuading foreign governments to provide assistance in certain areas. Success can lead to rewards, including promotions or desirable assignments, while failure can result in a swift return home and even punitive measures. This high-stakes environment creates a culture of performance where results are paramount. Family life for North Korean diplomats can also be quite different from that of other diplomats. Families often accompany them on their assignments. Children may attend international schools where they interact with peers from various backgrounds. However, this separation from their homeland affects the family dynamic. The constant burden of representing North Korea can take a toll, as parents must maintain a facade of loyalty and commitment, even while navigating the challenges of life abroad. Moreover, social activities often reflect the diplomatic objectives set by the state. Official receptions, meetings, and cultural events are key opportunities for diplomats to forge relationships and gather intelligence. North Korean diplomats may host cultural events showcasing their nation's music, art, or cuisine. These gatherings serve to bolster North Korea's image on the international stage, while also providing a rare opportunity for socializing. However, they must tread carefully, as these events are often scrutinized to ensure they align with diplomatic goals. Striking a balance between diplomacy and state mandates can lead to an intriguing but challenging existence. On one hand, diplomats may encounter culture shock and be exposed to different political systems and ideologies. On the other hand, they remain deeply aware of their duties and the necessity of adhering to the policies dictated by their government. As a result, their experiences can be multifaceted, offering glimpses of a broader world while constantly reminding them of their particular mission. During their time abroad, North Korean diplomats may cultivate a unique sense of identity. Living outside of North Korea exposes them to various cultural intricacies and global viewpoints. Yet, despite these opportunities for personal growth and development, they are often reminded of their national pride and the weight of their responsibilities. Conversations can be tinged with tension when discussing international affairs, as they are acutely aware of the prejudices and preconceptions others may hold about their country. It's also important to consider the loneliness that can permeate the lives of North Korean diplomats. While they may be surrounded by fellow countrymen and diplomats, the isolation from the broader society can lead to feelings of alienation. Unlike other diplomats who might freely engage with the local populace, North Korean representatives must often restrict their communications to official channels and other diplomatic personnel. The result can feel like a barrier, preventing deep connections and meaningful interactions with those around them. Ultimately, the lives of North Korean diplomats are steeped in complexity. They are tasked with representing their nation, managing economic initiatives, and balancing personal lives within the constraints of their roles. Engaging with the world while remaining true to their homeland's policies creates a unique juxtaposition that defines their experiences. Despite the challenges and uncertainties, North Korean diplomats continue to fulfill their duties, driven by a sense of loyalty and purpose that is deeply ingrained in their training. As we observe the world of international diplomacy, understanding the experiences of North Korean diplomats sheds light on the often overlooked intricacies of their roles. The juxtaposition of political directive and personal experience creates a narrative that is both compelling and sobering. Their stories are a testament to resilience and a reminder of the often unseen challenges faced by those who navigate the delicate art of diplomacy in a complex global landscape. In recent years, the topic of tunnel networks has become a subject of intrigue and speculation, especially regarding military strategies and preparedness in conflict zones. One of the most prominent examples can be seen along the Korean Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, which separates North and South Korea. This heavily fortified area is not just a physical barrier, but also a zone filled with tension and uncertainty, where both nations remain ever watchful of each other's movements. The idea of tunnels as a means of infiltration has origins in historical contexts. Tunnels have been used in various military conflicts throughout history. From the extensive tunnel systems used during World War I to the infamous tunnels in Vietnam, the ability to move unseen can provide a significant strategic advantage. In the Korean Peninsula, speculation suggests a network of underground passages designed for covert operations could exist. These tunnels, if they do indeed exist, would facilitate movement across the DMZ without the detection that might come with surface travel. The potential implications of such tunnels are considerable. Military analysts consider them a vital component of asymmetric warfare, where one side employs unconventional methods to gain an advantage over a larger force. This theory survives largely based on historical precedent and intelligence reports indicating unusual activity near the border. Reports have spoken about excavation equipment deliveries and other logistical preparations, suggesting that extensive work may have been taking place underground. For example, in the past, North Korea has been accused of constructing tunnels under the DMZ, which could allow troops to move quickly and unexpectedly into South Korea. These tunnels are theorized to be equipped with the capacity to transport soldiers, equipment, and supplies, potentially transforming conventional military engagements in the region. The mere existence of such tunnels stirs anxiety and prompts serious discussions among defense experts considering the established military strategies of both Koreas. The challenges of tunneling in this context are complicated. The geological structure of the DMZ presents a mixture of soft clay and hard rock, making both construction and detection a tricky business. Tunnels must be constructed in a way that they can withstand the Earth's pressure above them, and at the same time, they must remain hidden from advanced detection methods. Despite technological advancements in ground-penetrating radar and other surveillance techniques, tunnels have sometimes eluded both detection and destruction. This factor gives rise to a broader conversation about how nations approach security and intelligence in areas characterized by conflict. It highlights the constant arms race and technological innovations designed to detect such underground constructs. The advancement of sensors and detectability technologies illustrates a significant consideration for military strategists. Both nations continually adapt their approaches, endeavoring to either unearth their adversaries' secrets or conceal their own plans. Suspicion surrounding tunnel networks also feeds into the psychological warfare element between North and South Korea. Each side seeks to undermine the other's confidence, creating a cycle of misinformation and distrust. The narrative of invisible threats lurking beneath the surface can have powerful implications, reinforcing military spending, influencing public opinion, and justifying defense initiatives. What lies underground becomes as much about what is known as what remains unknown. In addition, the presence of tunnel networks fosters a sense of urgency in international diplomacy. Discussions of peace and any potential agreements often include provisions relating to the monitoring of such structures. The fear of unaccounted exits and entries across borders can create barriers to trust. Diplomats may find themselves navigating treacherous conversations, where the specifics of terrain are as crucial as broader discussions of denuclearization or economic cooperation. While there have been instances where tunnels have been discovered, each find leads to further scrutiny and speculation. Local communities can feel the impacts, as military readiness often translates to heightened security measures in their daily lives. Routine patrols, increased military visibility, and ongoing training exercises become part of the backdrop for those living near strategic borders. Tunnels signify more than merely military strategy. They embody the complexities of human conflict, the stories of struggle, survival, and the lengths people go to protect their beliefs and territories. They provoke questions about the ethics of warfare, the responsibilities of nations toward peace and security, and how history shapes current realities. In conclusion, the speculation surrounding tunnel networks, especially along the DMZ, is deeply intertwined with themes of history, technology, psychology, and diplomacy. They represent a fascinating aspect of military strategy that continues to captivate both experts and the general public alike. The mystery of what lies beneath inspires both fascination and anxiety, reflecting the broader challenges of understanding human conflict in a world where the unseen can shape the outcomes of visible engagements. As we continue to explore these hidden worlds, we reveal not just the intricacies of military planning, but the deeper stories that bind nations in both tension and hope. North Korea, a nation often in the headlines for its political landscape and military posturing, has a less visible side that involves a web of clandestine export activities. While much of its trade is officially documented, there exists a shadow economy where goods and services are exchanged under the radar. Understanding this hidden aspect can provide insights into the country's economic strategies and the lengths to which it goes in seeking foreign currency. Officially, North Korea heavily relies on exports of minerals and agricultural products. Metals like coal, iron ore, and rare earth minerals are among its primary exports, with China being its largest trading partner. However, beyond these visible transactions, North Korea has developed a reputation for secretive, often illicit activities that contribute significantly to its economy. One notable area of clandestine exports involves arms. North Korea has been known to supply military equipment and weapons to nations and non-state actors that may not adhere to international sanctions. For instance, reports indicate shipments of small arms and munitions to countries and groups that align with North Korea's political ideologies or have been marginalized by the international community. This trade not only generates vital revenue for the North Korean government, but also strengthens ties with these buyers. Another aspect is the export of counterfeit goods. North Korea has been implicated in producing counterfeit currency, especially US dollars. They have earned the notorious nickname Supernote for the high quality of counterfeit bills produced. These fake notes circulate in various markets, providing a substantial, albeit illegal, source of income. The complexities of international finance and currency dynamics allow such activities to persist, although they come at a great risk of global condemnation and further sanctions. Additionally, North Korea has been involved in the cyber realm, exploiting technology for financial gain. Cybercrime, including hacking and information theft, has emerged as a revenue stream. North Korean cyber operatives have reportedly infiltrated banking systems and cryptocurrency exchanges, stealing millions of dollars. By targeting financial systems worldwide, North Korea has created a modern means to circumvent traditional economic restrictions while rapidly gathering resources. Drug trafficking is another sector where North Korea has made its mark. The country is suspected of cultivating poppy for heroin and producing methamphetamine, smuggling these narcotics into various markets, especially in Asia. These substances find their way into territories where demand is high, providing a lucrative market that the regime taps into for hard currency. This illicit drug trade is not only enriching North Korea, but also posing dangers to public health in the regions affected. Moreover, North Korea utilizes its workers abroad as a form of exporting labor. Citizens are sent to work in various countries, often under harsh conditions, and with significant portions of their wages funneled back to the North Korean government. This practice has drawn international criticism, but remains an essential source of income. Countries like Russia and China have hosted North Korean laborers for years, where they engage in construction, logging, and agriculture. Fishing also plays a unique role in North Korea's clandestine economy. With access to rich fishing grounds, North Korean vessels often engage in illegal fishing in the waters of Japan and other neighboring countries. The harvested fish and seafood are then brought back to North Korea or sold on the black market, all of which contributes to an overall increase in revenue. This activity frequently leads to diplomatic tensions, as neighboring nations seek to protect their marine resources. Another secretive export involves the trade of technology, particularly in fields related to military applications and nuclear technology. While the international community has imposed limits, North Korea has been known to share knowledge and expertise with other nations, particularly those looking to develop their own arms capabilities. This transfer of technology can perpetuate cycles of conflict and instability in already volatile regions. North Korea even engages in cultural exchanges for export, albeit shrouded in a different kind of secrecy. By exporting films, music, and media that promote its government narratives, North Korea seeks to enhance its soft power abroad. These cultural products not only serve as propaganda, but also help to establish a sense of identity and solidarity among like-minded groups around the world. As you can see, North Korea's secret exports are multifaceted, ranging from counterfeiting and arms deals to drug trafficking and illegal fishing. Each of these activities reveals a different aspect of the regime's determination to secure financial independence despite international sanctions and isolation. Exploring this hidden economy provides a fascinating glimpse into how a nation adapts under pressure, revealing the lengths it will go to in order to sustain itself. By understanding these clandestine exports, one can gain a deeper insight into the innovations and adaptations of a country that remains largely enigmatic on the global stage. The Korean War, which lasted from 1950 to 1953, was a pivotal conflict in the 20th century, often described as a war that was fought in the shadow of earlier global tensions and ideologies. It pitted the Communist North, backed by China and the Soviet Union, against the capitalist South, supported primarily by the United States and other Western nations under the auspices of the United Nations. During this conflict, thousands of soldiers from various nations were engaged in fierce battles, and many individuals were reported missing in action. The fate of these soldiers remains one of the most uncertain and poignant aspects of the Korean War. Even decades after the conflict ended, there are still unresolved questions about the whereabouts and conditions of those who disappeared during the fighting. Many families continue to hold on to hope, while some have come to terms with the loss. This intricate situation has led to ongoing speculation, a blend of human emotion and historical inquiry. One of the major factors contributing to the mystery of missing soldiers is the chaotic nature of the war itself. Battles were fierce and often disorganized, leading to soldiers becoming separated from their units. In the heat of combat, communication lines were frequently broken, and the terrain made it easy for individuals to get lost or overwhelmed. With the front lines constantly shifting, many soldiers found themselves in enemy territory, where they faced capture. Reports from the time indicate that both sides employed tactics that added to the uncertainty surrounding missing personnel. For example, in the north, there were instances where prisoners of war were not accounted for, and unlisted numbers of missing soldiers loomed large. Similarly, the United Nations forces experienced their share of losses, and the numbers of those unaccounted for skyrocketed as battles drew to a conclusion. Another layer to this complex issue is the political climate of the era. During the ceasefire negotiations, discussions about the true number of missing soldiers and their potential return became laden with tension. Each side was less inclined to provide full information, fearing that it might affect military strategy or national pride. This lack of transparency has left many families yearning for answers, as the military records were often incomplete or inaccurate, further clouding the true fate of their loved ones. As time passed and the years turned into decades, the issue of missing soldiers from the Korean War transformed into a significant aspect of the historical narrative. Organizations and historians have undertaken the challenge of uncovering the fates of these individuals, employing a mix of modern technology, interviews, and archival research to piece together stories that are often only fragments. In some cases, advances in DNA technology have provided a breakthrough. Families can submit DNA samples that may match remains found on the Korean peninsula. This process offers a glimmer of hope for many who have been left with unanswered questions. However, it also serves as a reminder of the painful history that these families carry with them. Furthermore, the phenomenon of missing soldiers has extended beyond the immediate families, capturing the attention of a broader audience. Documentaries, books, and articles have delved into the stories of these individuals, painting a picture of the human experience during a turbulent time. Through these narratives, we can see the lives of brave men who took part in a conflict filled with uncertainty. Their stories often reflect a mix of valor, vulnerability, and heartbreak. Among those still unaccounted for, there are compelling individual stories that emerge. Some were just boys when they went to war, leaving behind dreams and aspirations. Others were seasoned soldiers, dedicated to the ideals of their country. Each name on the rolls of those missing is not just a statistic, but represents a life that touches families and communities. Many veterans from the Korean War reflect on their experiences, often sharing about those who went missing. They describe the deep sense of camaraderie that existed among soldiers and how the absence of a fellow comrade left a lasting impact. These personal accounts serve not just as testaments to bravery, but also bear witness to the lasting scars left by the chaos of war. In the years following the war, joint efforts between North and South have led to some measures for accountability. Meetings focused on repatriation and discussions concerning missing soldiers have taken place, providing a platform for dialogue that, although fraught with challenges, aims for closure. Although these efforts are not without their difficulties, they offer hope to families who long to have definitive answers about what happened to their missing loved ones. The continuing quest for knowledge surrounding the fate of soldiers missing from the Korean War reflects a broader desire of society to understand its history. Each advancement made in uncovering the past represents a step toward healing, not only for the families but for the nations involved. The stories of these individuals remind us of the complex tapestry that history weaves, filled with loss, resilience, and, ultimately, the enduring human spirit. In conclusion, the question of what happened to the soldiers missing from the Korean War remains a profound concern, resonating through the years with emotional significance. The narratives of these missing individuals symbolize the experiences of many who endured the trials of war, asserting their place in the annals of history and the hearts of those who have not forgotten them. Their stories demand remembrance, and through continued efforts, they may one day achieve the closure that many have long sought. In a world where information travels faster than ever, some narratives about health claims have captured public attention and imagination, particularly when they involve prominent leaders. Across various nations, state media often position their leaders as paragons of health, presenting extraordinary claims that can sometimes veer into the realm of the bizarre. These claims, while intriguing, often lack verification, leading to curiosity and skepticism alike. Take, for instance, the reports surrounding some leaders who are said to possess extraordinary health benefits due to unique diets or exercise regimens. For example, one country's state media claimed that their leader's longevity could be attributed to a rare fruit found only in the most remote parts of the world. This fruit, said to be brimming with antioxidants and vitamins, was marketed not only as a personal secret of the leader, but also as a miraculous cure-all for the population. The claim was exciting, painting a picture of a leader who was not just healthy but almost superhuman. Another interesting case involved a leader who purportedly followed a specialized exercise regimen said to be developed by ancient sages. State media touted this program as a revolutionary approach to vitality and longevity, suggesting that following in the leader's footsteps could lead to remarkable health transformations. In some instances, these protocols are detailed extensively, yet little scientific evidence is provided to back them up, leaving audiences bemused. How could a unique exercise routine defy the laws of biology? Yet, the narrative continues, feeding into a culture of adoration and unwavering belief in the leader's exceptionalism. Moreover, the claims can get even more peculiar. Reports have emerged that some leaders are nourished not just by food, but by specially concocted elixirs made from rare herbs gathered at full moon. Allegedly, these concoctions are said to rejuvenate the body and mind, enhancing not only physical health but cognitive abilities as well. The state media frames these stories in a way that makes it seem like the leader is not just a person but a living legend, surrounded by an aura of mystery and supernatural capabilities. This brings us to the psychological aspect of these bizarre health claims. The public, often enamored with their leaders, may choose to believe these extravagant assertions out of a sense of loyalty or cultural identity. The narrative spun by state media served to solidify the bond between the leader and their constituents, creating a mythos that elevates the individual to heroic status. It is easy to understand why people might want to believe that their leaders possess unique qualities, especially in uncertain times. However, the lack of verification is a crucial consideration. When extraordinary claims are made, they ideally should be rooted in empirical evidence or proper scientific inquiry. Yet, in many situations, these vibrant portrayals may simply serve a political purpose. They distract from pressing issues, or enhance an image of infallibility that not only captivates the public, but also discourages dissent. Some health professionals have weighed in on these narratives, expressing concerns about the potential consequences of misleading claims. In an age where misinformation can spread virally, promoting unverified health protocols can have real risks. People might actually adopt harmful practices in pursuit of an ideal they've been presented with. For instance, if someone believes that consuming obscure plants or following eccentric exercise routines will yield miraculous results, it might lead them to neglect established medical advice in favor of these fantastical alternatives. In a slightly humorous light, there's also the element of the absurd. When a leader's health claims seem so far-fetched, it can spark a wave of satire and parody. Social media platforms often become buzzing hives of comedic content mocking these exaggerated reports. Memes featuring exaggerated portraits of the leader's supposed health prowess can sometimes bring laughter to what might initially seem baffling or concerning. Despite skepticism, the pattern continues. More claims arise, and the cycle perpetuates itself, as again and again, state media spins the yarn with vivid descriptions and enthusiastic endorsements. The public consumes this media, often without questioning the validity of the health claims, creating a fascinating dichotomy between illusion and reality. In exploring the bizarre health claims associated with leaders in state-run narratives, we uncover not just the influences of propaganda, but also deeper insights into human psychology, cultural identity, and social dynamics. What we may ultimately find is that these claims, no matter how absurd, reflect a complex interplay between faith, loyalty, and the natural human desire for health and vitality. As each new claim surfaces, they invite both belief and skepticism, captivating our attention while reminding us to inquire critically into the narratives that form around figures of empowerment and influence. Kaesong, a city steeped in history, serves as a poignant reminder of the division between North and South Korea. Located just north of the demilitarized zone, it was once the capital during Korea's Koryo dynasty from the 10th to the 14th centuries. Today, Kaesong's rich cultural tapestry and historical significance contrast sharply with the realities of a divided peninsula. Walking through the ancient streets of Kaesong, one can feel the echoes of its glorious past. The city was known for its flourishing art, culture, and education. Many remnants of this illustrious era still stand, like the beautiful Koryo Museum, which houses artifacts dating back to the dynasty's reign. The architectural splendor of the city is evident in the many temples, pagodas, and the famed Kaesong Confucian Academy that once attracted scholars from far and wide. The influence of Kaesong extended beyond its physical architecture. The city became a center for trade and commerce, connecting the Korean peninsula with neighboring regions, which facilitated cultural exchange. This bustling trade made Kaesong more than just a political hub. It shaped it into a melting pot of ideas and philosophies. The legacy of this cultural blend is felt even today, as local customs, food, and dialect reflect a rich mixture of traditions. However, the division of Korea after World War II marked a dramatic change in Kaesong's fortune. The peninsula was split into North and South, leading to the Korean War and a lasting separation that still exists today. This division impacted Kaesong significantly, as the city became a front line in the broader geopolitical conflict. Streets that once welcomed merchants are now punctuated with reminders of separation. Despite its historical importance, Kaesong is often viewed through the lens of modern political developments. In the early 2000s, it became a focal point of inter-Korean relations, especially with the establishment of the Kaesong Industrial Complex in 2004. This zone was an attempt at economic cooperation, where South Korean companies could operate factories in the north, employing North Korean workers. The complex symbolized hope for reconciliation and collaboration, even amid political tensions. However, its future became uncertain as relations soured, reflecting the broader struggles between the two Koreas. The city's geographical setting also adds to its significance. Nestled near the DMZ, Kaesong is surrounded by mountains and forests, offering a natural beauty that belies the underlying tensions. The tranquil landscape contrasts sharply with its history. Once a vibrant cultural hub, now a border town with poignant echoes of conflict and division. Tourists traveling to Kaesong today can witness its beauty alongside the scars of history. Monuments, memorials, and remnants of the past coexist, telling stories of resilience and loss. Culturally, Kaesong remains unique, with traditions that have been preserved despite the challenges of division. The local cuisine reflects its historical significance, with dishes like Kaesong ginseng, renowned for its quality, and traditional Koryo-style meals that attract food enthusiasts. Cooking in Kaesong often involves age-old techniques passed down through generations, reminding visitors of the city's rich culinary heritage. The Kaesong area is also known for its artisans. Craftspeople and artists have continued to produce pottery, textiles, and traditional crafts, maintaining a link to the past. These artisans embody the spirit of Kaesong's history, showcasing skills that have been honed over centuries. Each piece of art tells a story, preserving the cultural richness of the region, even in the face of modern challenges. As day turns to night in Kaesong, the city takes on a different character. The soft glow of streetlights illuminates ancient structures, creating a serene atmosphere that feels both timeless and charged with history. Visitors walking through the dimly lit streets may feel a sense of connection to those who walked before them, scholars, traders, and artisans whose lives were tied to this vibrant city. In considering Kaesong, one cannot overlook the poignant reminder of what divides nations and peoples. The juxtaposition of its historical significance against the backdrop of division provides fertile ground for reflection. It invites questions about identity, autonomy, and the hope for unity. These themes resonate not only within the context of Korea, but also reflect broader struggles across the globe. Kaesong stands as a testament to the resilience of culture and tradition amidst division. Its story is one of a city that has weathered the storms of history, symbolizing both the challenges and hopes of a nation. For anyone seeking to understand the complexities of the Korean peninsula, Kaesong offers a window into the past and a reflection on the journey toward healing and reconciliation. As we explore the tales embedded in Kaesong's streets, let us remember the lessons of history. The city embodies not only the narrative of conflict, but also the enduring spirit of the people who call it home. Through understanding Kaesong's divided history, we are reminded of the power of culture, community, and the enduring hope for unity that transcends borders. Each visit to this ancient city serves as an opportunity to contemplate both its rich heritage and the ongoing journey toward peace. Juche ideology, the official state ideology of North Korea, was introduced by Kim Il-sung in the mid-20th century. It is often translated as self-reliance, but this simple term does not begin to capture its complexities. Juche is a cornerstone of North Korean identity, shaping the nation's politics, economy, and culture. However, it is riddled with anomalies that challenge its own principles and create a paradoxical existence. At its core, Juche promotes an idea of self-sufficiency, urging the nation to depend on its own resources. This concept naturally encompasses agriculture, industry, and even military strength. North Korea strives to present itself as a bastion of independence, portraying an image of a nation capable of standing alone against outside forces. Yet, the economic reality often tells a different story. While the doctrine emphasizes self-reliance, North Korea has historically depended heavily on foreign aid, particularly from allies like China, and even from humanitarian organizations worldwide. This dependence stands in stark contrast to the ideals of Juche, raising questions about the authenticity of the regime's commitment to self-sufficiency. The concept of Juche also includes a strong emphasis on the role of the leader. Kim Il-sung positioned himself as the embodiment of the nation's spirit, suggesting that true self-reliance comes through loyalty to the leadership. In this context, the ideology becomes less about collective independence and more about the centralization of power. This raises intriguing contradictions. How can a nation claim to be self-reliant when its welfare is tied to the whims of a singular leader? The cult of personality surrounding Kim Il-sung, and later his son Kim Jong-il, and now his grandson Kim Jong-un, illustrates this paradox vividly. The very act of prioritizing the leader often produces a dependency that undermines the essence of Juche. Another intriguing anomaly lies in the cultural expressions of Juche. The regime promotes a distinctly North Korean culture, aiming to foster national pride and unity. Art, literature, and music are all produced under strict guidelines that align with Juche values. However, this focus on homogeneity suppresses individual creativity and freedom of expression, leading to a contradiction where self-reliance is depicted as a collective effort, while stifling personal contributions. Artists and writers are expected to create works that glorify the state and its leaders, often turning them into mere extensions of propaganda, rather than genuine reflections of the human experience. Economically, the principles of Juche have also had significant anomalies. For example, during the 1990s, North Korea experienced a devastating famine that exposed the vulnerabilities of its self-sufficient model. Despite the emphasis on agriculture, mismanagement and inefficient practices led to severe food shortages, forcing the government to open its doors to international aid. This moment showcased how the very ideology designed to promote independence could collapse under pressure, revealing the cracks in Juche's facade. The contradiction became even more apparent when North Korea engaged in trade with South Korea, despite promoting a hostile narrative against its southern neighbor. Moreover, the ideologies of Juche have influenced North Korea's foreign policy in ways that often baffle observers. The regime's avowed commitment to sovereignty stands at odds with its calculated nuclear ambitions and military provocations, which seem to invite international scrutiny and opposition. On the one hand, self-reliance is about standing firm against perceived enemies. On the other hand, The reliance on weapons of mass destruction raises questions about the nation's real confidence in its self-sufficient model. North Korea's aggressive stance appears to counter the tranquility that Juche professes to offer its citizens. Another fascinating aspect of Juche ideology is its attempts to build a narrative of exceptionalism. North Korean propaganda often depicts the nation as a shining example of revolutionary success, often disregarding the stark realities faced by its citizens. The imagery constructed is one of a thriving socialist paradise that stands in contrast to the chaotic capitalist world, particularly the West. However, the relentless promotion of this narrative can feel superficial, especially when juxtaposed with the lived experiences of ordinary people. The dissonance between the reality of everyday life and the idealized version presented by the state creates a complex dynamic, leading many to question the very tenets of Juche. In the cultural context, Juche seeks to celebrate native traditions and national pride, yet it often appropriates elements from other cultures to enhance its ideation. The state encourages a form of cultural nationalism while paradoxically employing imported ideologies, particularly socialism, to define its path. This assimilation creates an ideological tension, where the push for authentic national identity is entangled with the acceptance of external influences. In summary, the anomalies of Juche ideology reflect deep-rooted contradictions within North Korean society. The commitment to self-reliance is often undermined by economic realities, leadership dynamics, and cultural suppression. This ideology serves not merely as a guiding principle for the nation, but as a complex narrative that shapes the fabric of North Korea. As we explore these contradictions, we see an enigmatic portrait emerge, one that reveals the struggles between ideology and reality, independence and dependency, hope and disillusionment. The ongoing tension within Juche ideology invites observers to question and analyze the true nature of North Korea's self-reliance in an ever-changing global landscape. In the world today, communication is vital for both personal and global interactions. While most countries enjoy a relatively open exchange of information and communication technologies, there exists a place where such freedoms are severely curtailed: North Korea. Here, telecommunication systems operate within a carefully controlled environment, resembling a sealed bubble that provides limited access and a tightly monitored experience. North Korea's telecommunication network is a fascinating blend of technology and governmental oversight. The state's control is not only about preventing citizens from accessing outside information, but it also serves to maintain the regime's power by influencing the narratives available to the public. Within this context, telecommunication becomes a tool for both connection and control. To begin with, it's important to note that North Korea has its own domestic internet, known as Kumgang. Unlike the global internet, Pyongyang offers a restricted range of websites and services. This domestic network is accessed by a fraction of the population and primarily contains state-sanctioned content, such as educational materials, government propaganda, and other approved resources. Imagine a library filled only with books that tell one story, that is somewhat akin to the experience of North Koreans using Pyongyang. Mobile telephony in North Korea is another intriguing aspect of its telecommunications landscape. The regime did eventually allow the introduction of mobile phones, and currently, the country boasts a network that serves approximately 4 million subscribers. However, these devices are heavily monitored, and international communication is strictly forbidden. North Koreans are only allowed to communicate via their domestic network, making it impossible to contact individuals outside the country. North Korea operates its telecommunications infrastructure through state-owned enterprises. One of the most significant players is Korea Posts and Telecommunications, which manages the country's limited telephone and internet services. This entity not only provides connectivity, but also ensures that the government can monitor and restrict communications to maintain control over its citizens. In the realm of international communication, things become even more complicated. While there is a controlled method for officials to send messages abroad, it is mostly inaccessible to the general public. For example, government officials may be granted limited access to international calls, but such privileges are rarely extended beyond a select few. This selective approach creates a stark divide between the elite and ordinary citizens, reflecting the broader social stratifications present within the country. The state media, including newspapers, television, and radio, plays a crucial role in disseminating information that aligns with the regime's narratives. Telecommunications serve as a route to project these messages with the intention of shaping public perception and maintaining loyalty to the ruling party. With content that often glorifies the leadership and its historical achievements, The media operates within the confines of the state apparatus, ensuring message control. Another fascinating element is how foreign visitors and diplomats experience telecommunications in North Korea. They typically have access to their mobile networks. However, they must abide by strict guidelines. For instance, foreign visitors may use international communication within a limited capacity, often after informing the authorities to avoid any misunderstandings. Tourists might be surprised to learn that even their cameras are scrutinized, limiting the kind of images they can capture and share. Moreover, the government takes extensive measures to curb the distribution of information that contradicts its narratives. For example, people found with foreign media, such as South Korean dramas or American movies, face severe consequences. This rigorous enforcement extends to telecommunication, where authorities actually monitor internet use and can track the flow of information among their citizens. Despite these restrictions, there are accounts of clandestine communication networks developing among the North Korean populace. Some individuals use makeshift methods to share information, as the human desire for connection and knowledge often overcomes the fear of potential consequences. This reality within such a restrictive environment speaks volumes about the resilience of human spirit and the innate yearning for freedom. North Korea's telecommunications landscape embodies a unique paradox. Technology is present, but owned and operated under a canopy of strict governmental oversight. The contrast between the advanced capabilities available globally and the narrow, state-controlled access seen in North Korea serves as a reminder of the importance of open communication in fostering relationships and shared understanding. Through the lens of North Korea, one can observe how restrictive telecommunications impact society. The limitations on information access shape not only personal interactions, but also the collective identity of the nation. This creates a divide, separating North Koreans from the shared experiences of the global community. As technology continues to evolve, the implications of telecommunications in North Korea will be an area of keen interest. Will advancements ultimately penetrate the government's tight grip on information? The future remains uncertain, but the ongoing story of North Korean telecommunications highlights intrinsic qualities of humanity: the quest for information, connection, and ultimately, liberation from constraints. The reality of modern telecommunications illustrates a landscape where technology can serve as both a bridge and a barrier, defining the experiences of those who exist within its reach. Bureau 121 is an elite organization shrouded in secrecy, often described as one of the most advanced cyber units operating on the global stage. Hailing from North Korea, this group is responsible for carrying out state-sponsored cyber operations that impact not only the region, but also various countries around the world. The origins and the specific workings of Bureau 121 remain hidden from public eyes, but the implications of their activities are tangible and can be felt across the digital landscape. The name Bureau 121 signifies a specific branch within North Korea's intelligence umbrella, reportedly established in 2010. This cyber unit includes some of the most skilled hackers and experts in the fields of information technology and cybersecurity. The members are chosen for their exceptional proficiency in digital warfare, and they undergo extensive training in technology, programming, and strategic planning. They often operate in tight-knit teams, each member bringing unique skills to effectively execute complex cyber missions. One of the distinguishing features of Bureau 121 is its connection to the North Korean government. The operations they conduct are not merely for personal gain or malicious mischief. They align with state objectives and interests. Whether it's gathering intelligence, disrupting the operations of rival nations, or even engaging in acts of financial espionage, the missions are often steeped in political context. For instance, Bureau 121 has been implicated in a variety of high-profile cyber attacks aimed at financial institutions, government systems, and critical infrastructure worldwide. The group has sophisticated tools at its disposal, including malware, ransomware, and various forms of phishing techniques. They are known for their ability to exploit vulnerabilities in widely used software and systems. This level of expertise has allowed them to execute operations that not only steal sensitive data, but also spread disinformation and sow chaos within targeted organizations. Their actions have led to a greater awareness of cybersecurity among nations, prompting increased investments in defense measures against similar threats. One notable example of Bureau 121's activities occurred in 2014 when they were linked to the cyber attack on Sony Pictures. This incident highlighted the group's capabilities as they successfully breached the network, leaking sensitive information, including unreleased films and private company communications. The attack sent shockwaves throughout the entertainment industry and served as a wake-up call regarding the vulnerability of major corporations to cyber threats. Cyber warfare is a significant aspect of modern international relations, and entities like Bureau 121 exemplify how technology has reshaped this battleground. Their operations are not confined to traditional military confrontations. Instead, they provide a new dimension to conflict, one that can be waged without physical combat. Nations must now continually adapt to protect themselves from the stealthy incursions of cyber units like Bureau 121, which operate with the intent of destabilizing adversaries from within. In the realm of cyber warfare, misinformation is another tool that Bureau 121 utilizes to further North Korea's geopolitical aims. Disinformation campaigns can manipulate public perception, create societal discord, and undermine trust in institutions. This captivating aspect of cyber operations is not just about hacking into systems, but also about shaping narratives and influencing opinions, which can have far-reaching consequences in a globally interconnected world. The tools and strategies used by Bureau 121 are indicative of the broader trends in cyber warfare, where nation-states leverage technology to accomplish strategic goals. For instance, advanced persistent threats, APTs, and coordinated attacks against critical infrastructure have become more common, prompting sectors like energy and healthcare to enhance their security measures. The existence of groups like Bureau 121 serves as a reminder of the evolving nature of warfare, where a keyboard can be just as powerful as a weapon. Despite the significant threat posed by Bureau 121 and similar entities, one must acknowledge the layered complexity of cyber operations. The borderless nature of the Internet allows not only nations, but also individuals and organizations to directly influence global events. This has given rise to a unique blend of challenges and opportunities in security, collaboration, and policymaking. The need for robust international cooperation cannot be overstated, as nations grapple with the implications of cyber activities on their sovereignty and security. As the world becomes increasingly digitized, the importance of understanding the capabilities and intentions behind cyber units such as Bureau 121 cannot be underestimated. Their proficiency in executing sophisticated operations highlights the critical need for vigilance and preparedness in both public and private sectors. Nations must stay informed and agile, developing strategies that not only defend against attacks, but also anticipate the evolving tactics used by cyber warriors. Ultimately, Bureau 121 serves as an important example of how state-sponsored cyber operations can influence global dynamics. Their activities underscore the necessity for a comprehensive approach to cybersecurity, blending technology, policy, and international cooperation to create a resilient defense against potential threats. The ongoing evolution of warfare in this digital era compels all actors, be they governments, corporations, or individuals, to remain engaged and informed as they navigate the complexities of this new frontier. Air Koryo, North Korea's national airline, is often seen as a relic from a bygone era, specifically the Cold War. This airline, established in 1950, holds a unique place in the world of aviation, not just for its operational status, but for the peculiar charm of its vintage fleet. As you explore the nuances of Air Koryo, you will discover a tapestry woven with history, political significance, and an unexpected sense of wonder. Flying with Air Koryo is akin to stepping into a time capsule. The airline primarily operates a fleet that includes several aging Soviet aircraft models, such as the Tupolev Tu-154 and the Ilyushin Il-62. These aircraft evoke a sense of nostalgia for those who are passionate about aviation history. The Tu-154, for instance, earned its place as a long-haul workhorse for several airlines during the Cold War. With its distinctive three-engine configuration, this aircraft became synonymous with Soviet air travel. Despite its age, Air Koryo has remarkably maintained these planes, allowing passengers to experience the thrill of flying in an aircraft that many have only seen in photographs. One of the most notable aspects of Air Koryo is its adherence to a strict, state-controlled narrative. The airline offers a limited range of international routes, primarily focusing on destinations in China and Russia. These routes are important not just for their connectivity, but also for their symbolic significance, showcasing North Korea's limited interaction with the outside world. When traveling on Air Koryo, passengers often find themselves enveloped in an atmosphere that reflects the country's political stance. The onboard service is emblematic of the airline's identity, featuring a simple yet traditional approach to hospitality that differs greatly from the polished presentations of major international airlines. The dining experience aboard Air Koryo has also become a curious element of its appeal. passengers might find themselves enjoying a meal that includes local delicacies, accompanied by a simple drink, often served in a traditional style. The meals might not always meet the culinary standards that global travelers are accustomed to, but they hold an authenticity that connects one with North Korean culture. Some travelers describe these meals as a part of the adventure, marking their flight as a unique moment in their journey. In addition to its vintage aircraft and distinctive in-flight experience, Air Koryo also maintains its status through a commitment to safety, despite the outdated fleet. The airline has received an international rating of 1 star, acknowledging both its challenges and efforts to comply with global aviation standards. While some may view this star rating with skepticism for aviation enthusiasts, it becomes part of the allure of Air Koryo, an airline that exists at the intersection of history and present-day trials. Airports like Pyongyang Sunan International Airport, the hub from which Air Koryo operates, further immerse visitors in this reflective atmosphere. The airport itself is modest, with sparse amenities that harken back to another time. The experience of traveling through this airport adds to the feeling that one is part of something remnant of the Cold War era, a juxtaposition of modernity against a backdrop of historical significance. Additionally, Air Koryo stands out not just for its aircraft and services, but also for the profound stories associated with its operation. The airline has been a subject of documentaries and articles exploring the broader narrative of North Korea and its isolationist policies. Tourists and aviation enthusiasts often find charm in the stories of travelers who have flown with Air Koryo. These anecdotes range from fascinating encounters with the staff to surreal moments on board the aircraft, all lending to the allure of flying with this enigmatic airline. While flying with Air Koryo may not provide the luxury and comfort of contemporary air travel, its essence lies in the journey itself, offering an unparalleled experience that few can match. It serves as a reminder of an era defined by political divides, technological advancement, and cultural differences, all encapsulated within the confines of an airline. For many, the chance to board a plane with the name Air Koryo emblazoned on its side becomes a story worth sharing for years to come. In summary, Air Koryo represents much more than just a mode of transportation. It serves as a fascinating piece of history, echoing the sentiments of a world shaped by the dynamics of the Cold War. The airline's commitment to maintaining its vintage fleet and traditional services transforms the act of flying into a remarkable thread connecting travelers to a unique historical narrative. As such, an experience with Air Koryo is cherished not only for the ride itself, but for the stories and connections that unfold in its wake, making it not just a flight, but an adventure into the past. The Kumsusan Palace of the Sun, resting in the heart of Pyongyang, North Korea, is not just a mausoleum. It is a monumental symbol of power and reverence towards one of the country's most significant historical figures, Kim Il-sung. This impressive structure serves as the final resting place for Kim Il-sung, the founding leader of North Korea, and is a focal point of intergenerational loyalty and national pride. The mausoleum itself is a grand example of North Korean architecture, showcasing a fusion of traditional Korean elements and monumental socialist style. Its design is both imposing and intricate, with wide stone steps leading up to an elaborately decorated entrance. Surrounding the palace are expansive gardens, meticulously maintained to create a serene environment that enhances its solemn atmosphere. Visitors often note the striking contrast between the vibrant greenery and the stark white marble of the building, producing a visually captivating scene. As visitors approach the Kumsusan Palace, they are welcomed by the guard who stands sentry at the entrance. This guard is not just any soldier. Dressed in crisp, ceremonial uniforms, they embody the dedication and respect attributed to the founder of the nation. Each movement is carefully choreographed, from the way they stand to the precision of their salutes, reflecting deep-rooted traditions of honor and reverence. Inside, the atmosphere shifts dramatically. The interior of the mausoleum is designed to evoke feelings of solemnity and awe. The grand halls are lined with marble and adorned with elaborate murals that capture significant moments from Kim Il-sung's life in North Korean history. The lighting is soft yet purposeful, casting gentle reflections that dance across the walls and enhance the overall ambiance. At the center of it all lies the glass coffin, resting on a bed of red velvet. Kim Il-sung's body is preserved using advanced techniques and is displayed with care, allowing visitors a glimpse of the man who shaped the nation. It is said that the coffin is kept at a controlled temperature, ensuring that the body remains in perfect condition for generations to come. This meticulous attention to detail reflects the lengths to which the state goes to honor its leader, presenting him as an almost larger-than-life figure. Visiting the Kumsusan Palace is a significant event in North Korea, often reserved for occasions of national importance. Through educational trips and organized visits, citizens and tourists alike are guided through the mausoleum, instilling a sense of duty and respect. It is common to see groups of schoolchildren or workers visiting, their eyes wide with curiosity and reverence, as they learn about the history of their country and the legacy of their leader. The significance of the Kumsusan Palace extends beyond a simple mausoleum. It acts as a monument to the ideology and political narrative promoted by the North Korean regime. It is interwoven with the concept of Kim Il-sung being a near-divine figure, a leader whose spirit continues to guide the nation. The palace serves not only as a place of mourning, but also as a site of indoctrination, reinforcing the teachings and ideals that Kim Il-sung espoused. Surrounding the palace are various other structures that contribute to its importance. The Kim Il-sung Square lies nearby, serving as a hub for parades and celebrations that showcase the power and resolve of the North Korean state. Also close by are various museums and memorials dedicated to the country's history, all reinforcing the narrative of resilience and strength that is central to North Korean identity. While the palace is a place of somber reflection, it also encapsulates the collective identity of the nation. Many North Koreans view their connection to Kim Il-sung and the palace as a core aspect of their identity. For them, it represents the hardships endured by the nation, the fight for independence, and the promise of a stronger future. The rituals surrounding the mausoleum, from the dressing of the guards to the paying of respects, serve to perpetuate this strong emotional bond. Notably, the Kumsusan Palace has faced its share of secrecy and speculation, as much about what takes place within its walls as about the preservation methods used. There is an air of mystery that envelops it, contributing to the intrigue surrounding Kim Il-sung's life and death. Rumors abound about the maintenance of the body and the specific rituals observed within, feeding into the mythos of the leader and maintaining the mystique of the mausoleum. In essence, the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun stands as a testament to the complexity of politics, history, and memory in North Korea. It is a place where reverence meets power, and mystery intertwines with reality. Each visitor leaves with a piece of this layered history, some pondering the depths of devotion, others contemplating the implications of such an intense focus on a single figure. Regardless of individual perceptions, the Kumsusan Palace remains an iconic landmark, an emblem of an enduring narrative that shapes the lives of millions and the future of a nation. The USS Pueblo is a fascinating and significant vessel in the history of the United States Navy and its interactions with North Korea. Launched in 1944, this intelligence ship initially served in various roles, gathering crucial intelligence during the Cold War. However, it gained notoriety not for its initial missions, but for its eventual capture and the circumstances surrounding that event. On January 23, 1968, while conducting routine surveillance in international waters off the coast of North Korea, the USS Pueblo was intercepted by North Korean naval vessels. The crew, consisting of 83 members, found themselves facing a dangerous situation. North Korean forces boarded the ship, taking its crew captive, and later claiming that the Pueblo had illegally entered their waters. This incident was not just a military confrontation. It was a complex interplay of international law, geopolitical tensions, and the Cold War atmosphere that defined the era. The USS Pueblo was not simply a ship. It was equipped with cutting-edge technology for its time. The vessel was designed for intelligence-gathering missions, utilizing sophisticated electronic equipment to intercept communications and gather signals intelligence from enemy forces. Its purpose was critical in a time when the United States was acutely focused on understanding and countering the actions of adversaries like the Soviet Union and communist countries in Asia. After its capture, the Pueblo was taken to the North Korean port of Wonsan and paraded in front of the international press. North Korea turned the ship into a political trophy, a symbol of their success against the United States. The crew faced harsh conditions and were subjected to propaganda efforts aimed at extracting confessions and showcasing the supposed aggression of the United States. The crew's resilience was remarkable. They were held for almost a year in captivity before being released on December 23, 1968, following tense diplomatic negotiations. The release was a significant event, highlighting both the challenges and complexities of U.S.-North Korea relations. The USS Pueblo continues to hold a unique place in naval history. The actual ship remains in North Korean hands and is displayed in Pyongyang as a symbol of national pride. It serves as a reminder of the tangled web of espionage, military strategy, and international diplomacy. For many, it is a cautionary tale of the risks associated with intelligence operations, particularly in volatile regions. The fascination with the USS Pueblo goes beyond just its capture. It's about the implications and the story of the crew, who exhibited courage and resilience under pressure. Their experience encapsulates the uncertainties faced during a time when the world was on the edge of a larger conflict. The incident fueled discussions about naval intelligence operations and raised questions about the engagements of military vessels in disputed waters. Years later, the Pueblo incident continues to resonate in discussions about international maritime law and the conduct of nations on the high seas. Experts often refer to this event in analyses of naval strategy and the importance of maintaining open lines of communication. The lessons learned are applicable even today, as global tensions persist in various forms. In popular culture, the USS Pueblo has become part of the narrative that shapes perceptions of Cold War-era events. Documentaries and books detailing the incident provide insights into the lives of the crew members, delving into their experiences both during captivity and after their return to the U.S. Their stories exemplify not just a tale of conflict, but also of camaraderie, resilience, and the enduring human spirit. The legacy of the USS Pueblo is multifaceted. It serves as a case study in the broader context of U.S.-North Korea relations, illustrating the complexities of diplomacy and military presence in foreign waters. The tensions that rose from the ship's capture still influence how nations navigate their military strategies and foreign policies today. To this day, the USS Pueblo remains an active part of naval history discussions, with its story continuing to evolve as historians and analysts seek to understand the implications of its capture. Beyond its role as a vessel, it represents an era marked by uncertainty, intrigue, and the slow march of diplomatic engagement. Every detail from its design to its missions and the events leading to its capture contribute to a narrative that engages historians, military strategists, and those curious about the past alike. The USS Pueblo displays how maritime operations can intersect vividly with global politics, shaping the relationships between nations. There is an allure in its story that captivates the imagination, as it encapsulates adventure, danger, and the unpredictable nature of international relations. While it may remain a captured ship, its significance endures, prompting us to reflect on the meaning and implications of our pursuit of knowledge and security in an ever-evolving world. Coded radio broadcasts have a unique and intriguing place in the world of communication, especially when it comes to mysterious transmissions from North Korea. These enigmatic radio messages capture the attention of enthusiasts, signal analysts, and casual listeners alike, fueled by their cryptic nature and the secrets they might hold. North Korea, known for its highly secretive government, has been transmitting coded messages for decades. Most famously, these broadcasts are made through shortwave radio frequencies, making them accessible to anyone with the right equipment and tuning skills. Among these broadcasts are sequences of numbers, strange phrases, or even tones. This peculiar form of communication raises a plethora of questions about their purpose and meaning. One of the most common types of these broadcasts involves long sequences of numbers. The numerical messages often repeat multiple times, and listeners who have tuned in report that they sound almost rhythmic, like a chant. In these broadcasts, one might hear a monotone voice reciting digits, sometimes interspersed with short phrases or call signs. The question arises, what do these numbers signify? Many theorists speculate that they could be used for sending orders to spies or agents operating undercover outside the country. For instance, consider a situation where an agent must receive specific instructions without raising suspicion. A coded broadcast provides an effective method, allowing operatives to decode messages that seem innocuous to the untrained ear. The use of numbers could potentially refer to dates, locations, or even crucial targets. In a world where discretion is paramount, such a communication method could be immensely valuable. Among the most fascinating facts about these broadcasts is the manner in which they are maintained. The North Korean government ensures that these transmissions are regularly scheduled, almost like a radio program, leading to speculation about their preparation and execution. The consistency of the broadcasts sets up a rhythm that listeners begin to predict. They might wait patiently for a specific time of day, tuning in to hear the distinctive voice that has become synonymous with these mysteries. Listeners across the globe have taken to documenting these broadcasts, creating communities online that share their findings and analysis. Amateur radio enthusiasts often try to decode the sequences, theorizing about their meanings and sharing insights. Some of these communities even include dedicated pages that report on the times and frequencies of recent broadcasts, allowing others to join in on the hunt for clarity in the chaos of numbers. Curiously, sometimes these broadcasts are interrupted by strange noises or signals, adding another layer of mystery to the experience. Theories abound about these interruptions, with speculations ranging from interference caused by natural phenomena to deliberate attempts at disinformation. A sudden shift in the transmission can leave listeners on the edge of their seats, trying to decipher whether they missed something crucial. In addition to numbers, some transmissions include messages spoken in different languages or seemingly random phrases. These glimpses into the style of communication lead to further conjecture about the intent and audience of the broadcasts. Are they aimed at a domestic audience, or are they meant to be heard by foreign ears? This duality creates a compelling narrative around the nature of radio transmission itself. Similarly, there are accounts of these radio broadcasts being utilized as a means of psychological warfare. The idea that a government could intentionally convey disinformation or instill fear through coded messages presents an atmosphere of tension and mystery. In a world filled with information overload, the simplicity of a radio wave transmitting integer sequences can be chilling, capable of sending a ripple effect through listeners with curiosity and concern. The appeal of these broadcasts extends beyond their apparent function. They evoke an atmosphere of espionage and intrigue, reminiscent of spy novels and films. To many, tuning into a clandestine broadcast becomes an adventure, a chance to connect with the unknown. What if the next sequence contains a message that changes everything? This idea elevates the experience from merely passive listening to active participation in a larger, unfolding narrative. International curiosity surrounding these broadcasts is also fueled by the geopolitical context they exist within. North Korea remains a focal point of global tension, a country shrouded in secrecy and often in the news for its controversial policies and actions. The allure of deciphering a small piece of that nucleus, through these coded messages, propels amateur analysts and academics alike to engage with the material, adding historical and political layers to the research. Ultimately, the phenomenon of coded radio broadcasts from North Korea is a blend of technology, secrecy, and human curiosity. These broadcasts open the door to various interpretations and interests, spanning across cultures and communities. They serve as a reminder of the power of communication, the significance of context, and the ever-present mystery that surrounds information. As listeners continue to tune in, the enigma remains alive and invigorated by the collective quest to uncover hidden meanings behind the numbers and phrases. Unraveling these messages involves not just curiosity, but a shared human interest in understanding the world around us and the stories hidden behind the signals. The 1990s witnessed a series of significant events that shaped global political landscapes and economies, but one of the most profound disasters of that era was a famine that left deep scars on those affected. Though it may have seemed like a distant whisper in the annals of history, the impact of this famine continues to resonate even today. The narratives surrounding it are shrouded in layers of state secrecy, making it challenging to grasp the full extent of its consequences. To understand the gravity of this situation, one must consider the factors that contributed to the famine. Economic mismanagement, natural disasters, and social unrest all converged, creating a perfect storm that led to widespread food shortages. In many regions, crops that had traditionally sustained communities withered in the fields, unable to thrive due to droughts or floods. The agriculture that once fed families crumbled, leaving behind tangible reminders of what once was. As reports began to emerge during this tumultuous period, it became clear that the impacts extended far beyond the loss of crops. Communities that relied on agriculture faced not just the scarcity of food, but also the erosion of their social fabric. Families were torn apart as members sought sustenance elsewhere or, unfortunately, succumbed to the very conditions that had driven them to desperation. The famine created a rift in society, breeding mistrust and despair, which would take generations to heal. In the shadows of state secrecy, many aspects of the famine's reality were not fully acknowledged or understood. Governments, concerned about their stability and reputation, often downplayed the severity of the situation. Reports of starvation and illness were dismissed, and information was tightly controlled to present a narrative of a nation that was resilient and in control rather than one suffering from severe crisis. People living through this harrowing period often felt isolated, unsure of how to address the stark realities they faced, as their suffering went largely unnoticed on the world stage. This manipulation of information resulted in a profound sense of alienation, not only for those directly affected, but also for the international community, which struggled to gauge the true nature of the crisis. Aid organizations often found themselves helpless, as bureaucratic barriers and secrecy thwarted their efforts to deliver assistance. Resources that could have alleviated suffering were delayed or diverted, leaving people to rely on their own ingenuity as they navigated this desperate situation. Moreover, the psychological toll of the famine is another facet that remains underexplored. The relentless pursuit of sustenance became an overwhelming aspect of daily existence for many. Anxiety and fear permeated communities as individuals witnessed the fragility of life. Relationships were strained under the weight of shared trauma, and survivors of the famine often carried unspoken scars that impacted their well-being long after the most acute crises had passed. The legacy of the famine extends into the realms of public health, education, and economic stability. The effects of malnutrition can echo for years, hindering cognitive development and diminishing productivity. Young children, deprived of essential nutrients, may find their opportunities for growth stunted. As these individuals grow into adulthood, the cumulative effects of their early experiences can manifest in broader societal challenges, perpetuating cycles of poverty and despair. Despite the shroud of secrecy that envelops this period, the stories of resilience and survival shine through the darkness. Individuals and communities banded together, sharing what little resources they had and supporting one another in times of struggle. These acts of courage and solidarity remind us of the strength inherent in human connection, even in the bleakest circumstances. As time marches on, the lessons of the famine in the 1990s serve as a poignant reminder of the necessity for transparency and accountability. Society must learn to break the silence surrounding such crises, to cultivate a better understanding of vulnerability and resilience. By acknowledging the past and its consequences, we can pave a path toward a more compassionate future, armed with knowledge that informs our responses to similar challenges. Though the full impacts of the famine remain entwined in state secrecy, the stories of those who lived through it are like flickering candles in the darkness, illuminating the depths of human experience. Every voice holds a narrative that contributes to the larger tapestry of history, ensuring that the complexities of this period are not forgotten. Together, let us strive to listen, learn, and remember, honoring the lives shaped by both loss and resilience in the face of adversity. In many parts of the world, the practice of religion can be a bold declaration of faith. However, there are regions where belief in a deity or adherence to a faith can lead to severe consequences. One noteworthy group is the Underground Bible Movement, a secretive network of Christians who practice their faith in secrecy due to the repressive nature of the state's atheistic stance. Imagine living in a land where expressing your beliefs openly could result in persecution or even imprisonment. For many Christians within the Underground Bible Movement, this is their everyday reality. Instead of attending public gatherings or communal worship, these believers gather in hidden locations, often aware that their faith could bring them harm. The necessity of discretion creates a unique environment filled with resilience, creativity, and a deep commitment to their beliefs. The Underground Bible Movement operates in countries where the government views religious practices, particularly Christianity, as a threat to societal order. Here, the authorities promote atheism and discourage any form of religious expression. The believers involved in this movement are often subjected to surveillance, arrests, and violent crackdowns. Despite these dangers, their faith remains unshakable, compelling them to connect and worship in secretive gatherings. Imagine, for a moment, a dimly lit room, perhaps the basement of an old building or the home of a devoted believer. A group of individuals quietly congregates, their faces illuminated only by the flickering light of a candle or a small lamp. They share stories from the Bible, passages that speak of hope, love, and perseverance. Each person brings their own experiences, their struggles with faith, and their dreams. In this tight-knit community, they find strength and encouragement. In many cases, these gatherings are a mix of devotion and education. Experienced leaders take time to teach the scriptures, ensuring that younger members grasp the wisdom and teachings passed down through generations. The Bible is cherished, often held in high esteem as a source of strength and guidance. While copies may be scarce and highly coveted, the believers preserve the words and values through memory and oral traditions. The bond shared among them transforms these gatherings into more than just meetings. they become lifelines, providing spiritual nourishment and connection. They celebrate milestones and offer support during hardships, creating a network that extends beyond mere worship. This community rallies around each other, often acting as a family in the absence of traditional support systems that might be threatened by the state. Creativity, too, plays a significant role in this movement. To avoid detection, these believers develop innovative strategies for worship and community building. They might use technology subtly, communicating through encrypted messages or private channels, allowing them to connect with others who share the same convictions, even across borders. Songs, art, and literature often carry hidden meanings and messages embedded within, enhancing their expression of faith while disguising them from the untrained eye. The underground Bible movement reflects a diverse tapestry of cultures, languages, and histories. From regions steeped in rich traditions to areas recovering from conflict, believers find common ground in their determination to uphold their faith. This resilience is further exemplified through stories that inspire and uplift. Whether it is the tale of a young person who chooses to remain steadfast in their beliefs despite societal pressures, or the witness of an elderly believer who has seen generations come and go, all these narratives contribute to an ever-evolving legacy. The connections formed within this movement do not merely exist in isolation. Believers often reach out beyond their immediate circles, forging ties with fellow Christians globally. This practice allows them to share their experiences, create awareness, and garner support from broader networks. Their stories find resonance in the hearts and minds of those living in more open societies, sparking conversations about religious freedom, human rights, and the power of belief. The resilience of the underground Bible movement serves as a poignant reminder of the lengths to which individuals will go to preserve their faith and community. These believers embody courage, often at great personal risk, holding on to hope in the face of adversity. Their story is not solely about survival. It is also about thriving in an environment designed to suppress their convictions. These networks continue to adapt, learning new ways to navigate their realities while preserving the essence of their beliefs. Even when faced with oppressive regimes, their commitment to their faith endures, igniting the spirit of determination and unyielding hope. They may have to practice their faith underground, but their message resounds loudly, echoing in the hearts of those who seek solace and strength in faith, no matter the cost. North Korea has long been a subject of intrigue and concern on the global stage, particularly when it comes to its ballistic missile tests. These tests, which have occurred with increasing frequency over the years, raise numerous questions about the nation's missile capabilities, intentions, and the potential repercussions for international security. The first notable fact about North Korea's ballistic missile program is its surprising evolution. What began as a simple development phase has transformed into a program characterized by rapid advancements in complex technology. The country has launched a variety of missile types, which can be broadly categorized into short-range, medium-range, and intercontinental ballistic missiles, each posing unique strategic threats. As these tests are conducted, North Korean leaders often emphasize their achievements, showcasing their perceived advancements in military technology. In understanding the significance of these tests, it is essential to recognize the political context surrounding them. North Korea uses missile launches for multiple reasons, including internal political purposes, demonstrating strength, and signaling to other nations. By conducting these tests, the regime reinforces its image of power to its citizens and the international community. Ironically, while these tests can be viewed as aggressive posturing, they also reveal a certain level of desperation. North Korea feels compelled to assert its military prowess to garner respect and recognition on the global stage. One of the most intriguing aspects of these missile tests is the secrecy and mystique surrounding North Korea's military capabilities. The nation maintains a heavy hand on information sharing, making it difficult for analysts to gain a clear picture of their true capabilities. Much of what is known comes from satellite imagery, defector testimonies, and intelligence assessments. Even with these resources, experts often find themselves grappling with uncertainty. Are the missiles as effective as they appear? How reliable are the reported ranges and payload capacities? This cloud of ambiguity leaves the international community in a continuous state of alert. Moreover, the tests themselves can vary in success. While some tests have displayed impressive technological advancements, others have resulted in failures, which presents an inherent unpredictability. It is not uncommon for a missile to explode shortly after launch or veer off course. These occurrences shed light on the challenges North Korea faces despite its ambitions, highlighting the complexities of aerospace technology. As nations around the world monitor these tests, they must balance their responses carefully, considering the potential for escalation. Another element contributing to the enigmatic nature of North Korea's missile program is the nation's apparent collaboration with other countries. Over the years, reports have emerged suggesting that North Korea may have received assistance or technology from nations such as Iran or Russia. This cooperation could translate into more sophisticated weaponry and tactics, further elevating the stakes involved in their missile testing regime. As the dynamics of international relations shift, the implications of such partnerships can significantly influence global peace and stability. While North Korea's missile tests are often met with condemnation and concern from many nations, some regional players respond to these actions with strategic recalibration. Countries in the surrounding area, such as South Korea and Japan, react by enhancing their own defenses and military capabilities. This response can create a cycle of tension, where one nation's military advancements prompt others to strengthen their own. Thus, the ripple effects of North Korea's testing program extend far beyond its borders, influencing the military strategies of nearby countries and altering the regional balance of power. In addition to military implications, North Korea's missile tests serve as a reminder of the evolving nature of modern warfare. The ability to launch missiles over great distances poses new challenges for global defense systems. Traditional forms of deterrence are being tested as nations must adapt to the changing landscape of threats. This reality compels leaders to rethink their approaches to defense, alliances, and diplomatic negotiations in order to navigate the complexities of the 21st century security environment. As North Korea continues its missile testing program, the global community remains watchful, anticipating new developments and assessing potential responses. The intricate dance between diplomacy, military strategy, and geopolitical chess will shape the future of the Korean Peninsula and the broader region. In this unpredictable atmosphere, knowledge and preparedness become essential tools for nations striving to maintain stability and peace. In conclusion, North Korea's ballistic missile tests represent a multifaceted phenomenon that captures attention, raises questions, and challenges the established order. The blend of ambition, secrecy, and political maneuvering makes it a critical area of study in contemporary international relations. The global community watches closely as these tests unfold, knowing that their implications extend well beyond the borders of North Korea, touching on issues of security, diplomacy, and regional balance. As new advancements are achieved and tensions fluctuate, the intricate story of North Korea's missile program continues to evolve, keeping the world engaged and ever alert. In recent years, the plight of women trafficked from North Korea has come to light, revealing a heartbreaking narrative hidden beneath the surface of society. Many North Korean women, motivated by the hope of a better life, embark on perilous journeys that all too often lead them into the hands of traffickers. These journeys are fraught with danger and deception, where dreams of freedom can quickly spiral into nightmares. Consider the story of a young woman named Hana. Growing up in North Korea, she faced severe limitations in terms of opportunities, education, and basic rights. The constant struggle for food, shelter, and a chance for a brighter future drove her to escape, seeking better prospects in neighboring countries. Little did she know that her quest for freedom would expose her to exploitation and abuse. Hana's journey is not unique. Thousands of women have ventured beyond the confines of their homeland, fueled by desperation and the desire for a chance to live a life filled with dignity and options. In their search for security, many North Korean women cross borders, often thinking they are stepping into a world of opportunity. However, they frequently encounter ruthless traffickers who prey on their vulnerability. Upon crossing the borders, women like Hana often find themselves in precarious situations. They may be lured by promises of work in factories or hospitality, only to discover that these promises are mere illusions crafted to ensnare them. Instead of employment, they face forced labor, sexual exploitation, or even being sold into marriage with little to no agency over their own choices. The conditions these women endure are harrowing. Trapped in a web of criminal networks, their freedom is stolen, and they are forced into lives they never imagined. Traffickers may isolate these women, keeping them in squalid conditions, denying them any form of education or social interaction, all designed to maintain control and silence. What adds complexity to their plight is the stigma attached to their circumstances. Many women who escape or are rescued face discrimination, and lack of support from society. Often, they return to communities that struggle to understand their experiences, which can lead to feelings of isolation and despair. The trauma of their experiences is compounded when they cannot find acceptance or opportunities. Organizations and activists have stepped up efforts to combat this issue, raising awareness about the vulnerabilities of North Korean women. They advocate for stronger protections and support networks that can help these women reintegrate into society upon their return. Education and empowerment become paramount as they strive to rebuild their lives. Programs focused on trauma recovery, job training, and psychological support can make a significant difference in helping these women regain their autonomy and dignity. It is vital to understand that the stories of these women are not just statistics, but are personal narratives filled with courage and resilience. Each woman has a story worth telling, a life filled with hopes that were nearly extinguished by the horrors of trafficking. By lifting their voices and sharing their experiences, we can shine a light on the harsh realities of trafficking and the pressing need to create systemic change. The global response to human trafficking is evolving, but there is still much work to be done. Advocating for stronger laws, better enforcement, and comprehensive support systems for survivors is essential. International collaboration is crucial, as trafficking knows no borders. By working together, countries can share intelligence, streamline rescue operations, and create policies that deter traffickers from preying on vulnerable populations. Empowerment initiatives can also play a key role in prevention. Teaching women about their rights, providing information about safe migration, and offering resources for self-defense can help mitigate the risk of trafficking. Community education is another critical aspect, enabling societies to recognize the signs of trafficking and offer assistance to those who may be at risk. As we draw attention to this dark secret of human trafficking, we must engage in conversations that promote understanding and compassion. By sharing the stories of women like Hannah, we create a platform for awareness and empathy that can lead to action. Acknowledging their experiences means advocating for change and standing in solidarity with those who have endured unimaginable hardships. Ultimately, the fight against human trafficking relies on collective effort. By bringing these issues into the light, we can foster a culture that values and protects the rights of all individuals. Making connections between advocacy, education, and support can cultivate environments where women feel safe, empowered, and free to pursue their dreams without fear of exploitation. The stories of North Korean women who find themselves caught in the web of trafficking serve as powerful reminders of the importance of vigilance and compassion in our global society. Together, we can create a future where stories of hope triumph over tales of despair. In a world where access to food is a fundamental necessity, the phenomenon of limited food rations presents a complex challenge for many populations. Food insecurity touches lives deeply and is a critical issue that shapes the landscape of society. In different regions, the experience varies widely, but the main threads of discontent often weave a similar narrative: the struggle to secure consistent nourishment amid restrictive policies and regulations. Consider a bustling city where shelves in grocery stores are starkly barren. Amidst the echoes of everyday life, families are caught in the uncertainty of whether they will have enough to eat as the days pass. Often, these urban areas, which thrive on a steady influx of goods, find themselves at the mercy of the administration. This control is not merely about what is available to purchase. It extends into the realm of information. Governments sometimes limit detailed data circulation regarding food availability and production, purposefully cloaking the situation in silence. Imagine a community meeting where locals gather to discuss their predicament. Despite their tangible struggles, the conversation becomes muddled, as the absence of reliable information hinders their ability to strategize and support one another. Rumors take root in the absence of facts, and individuals begin to question the real status of food supplies across different neighborhoods. Some assure others that a certain store is well stocked, while others insist the opposite. In the end, the reliance on fragmented information deepens the cycle of confusion and anxiety. Worse still, in efforts to manage public perception, governments may downplay the seriousness of food shortages. They might release grand statements about agricultural achievements and harvests that simply do not match the realities on the ground. When data is withheld, trust deteriorates. People start to feel disconnected from a reality that they cannot grasp. Food becomes more than just nourishment. It morphs into a currency of survival, one that is tightly regulated and monitored. In the shadows of such a system, innovative survival tactics emerge. Many turn to community gardens, where neighbors come together to cultivate their own crops. These vibrant patches of green become not only a source of sustenance, but also a symbol of resilience and solidarity. The act of planting seeds transforms into a communal endeavor that defies the limitations set by external conditions. Here, crops like tomatoes, beans, and leafy greens thrive, and the harvests become shared feasts where families unite and exchange goods and recipes. It becomes evident that the community can find ways around the barriers when they work together. In certain contexts, barter systems may also rise to prominence. Instead of relying solely on cash transactions, individuals and families begin to engage in exchanges, swapping homemade goods, canned preserves, or even services in return for food. This creates an interdependent network among community members, where support outweighs scarcity. They share not just items, but knowledge and skills, teaching one another how to maximize the resources available, whether through cooking techniques or nutritional information. Yet, the stark reality persists that limited food rations can lead to serious health implications. Insufficient variety in diet can contribute to nutritional deficiencies, particularly in growing children and vulnerable populations. The absence of key vitamins and minerals may lead to decreased vitality, impacting not only physical well-being but mental health as well. Communities might find themselves facing a dual crisis, with both mental strain and physical ailments becoming part of daily life. Meanwhile, outside these communities, agriculture itself faces immense challenges. Farmers may experience their own struggles with crop yields, driven by climate change and ever-fluctuating weather patterns. Droughts or floods can devastate entire seasons, leading to reduced supplies that further tighten rations. The gap between food production and distribution widens, and as governments impose restrictions in an attempt to manage the crisis, access becomes increasingly erratic. The broader implications of food insecurity extend into economic stability too. As families are forced to allocate more of their income to basic sustenance, spending on other essentials diminishes. This shift can lead to declines in local economies, stressing businesses, and further perpetuating a cycle of poverty. Parents may find themselves making difficult choices between purchasing groceries or paying rent, a dilemma that weighs heavily on families. In contrast, some regions, where transparency exists, perhaps due to different governance approaches, showcase how access to reliable food information can empower communities. Here, farmers collaborate on best practices, consumers can engage directly with producers, and food policies encourage innovative solutions to combat food insecurity. By establishing an open dialogue, they foster trust and cooperation, transforming the landscape from fear to hope. As individuals and communities navigate the precarious waters of limited food rations, it becomes clear that resilience emerges within the heart of adversity. Whether through communal gardens, barter systems, or cooperation and creativity, the human spirit perseveres. Local solutions, despite external limitations, pave a path forward. Through shared efforts, people unite against the tide of uncertainty, crafting a new understanding of sustenance that draws on their collective strength. In the end, it is this unity that nourishes not only the body but also the community spirit, helping them to face whatever challenges lie ahead. Pyongyang, the capital of North Korea, is a city that embodies both grand aspirations and a steadfast commitment to secrecy. Among its many characteristics, one of the most captivating is the existence of restricted zones that few people ever see. These areas are off-limits to ordinary citizens and foreigners alike, creating an air of enigma and fascination surrounding the capital. Imagine a city where iconic monuments, sprawling parks, and monumental architecture stand tall, yet just beyond their shadows lie sections that are shrouded in mystery. Areas where permission to enter is strictly controlled, and the reasons for their inaccessibility only add to the intrigue. These zones are a stark reminder of the country's unique approach to governance and society, blending traditional communist values with a highly controlled environment. One of the most notable sites is the prestigious area surrounding the Workers' Party of Korea central offices. Here, towering buildings represent the heart of North Korean politics and ideology, but the surrounding streets and alleys pulse with an energy that is largely unseen by the general populace. With armed guards patrolling certain key areas, the atmosphere shifts from one of everyday life to that of a well-guarded fortress. This tells us that even in a city characterized by its grandeur, there are layers that remain concealed, making one ponder what goes on behind those closed doors. Additionally, the ultra-modern Mansudae Art Studio, an institution of cultural significance, is another restricted area. It is here where some of the country's most talented artists work, creating portraits of the nation's leaders and epic murals that glorify its history. The exclusive nature of this studio not only emphasizes the value placed on artistic output that aligns with state narratives, but also hints at the tremendous control over the information that reaches the very public worshipping these images. In contrast, the vast expanse of the Taedong River serves as a notable landmark within Pyongyang, with its banks lined by impressive structures. However, navigating too far from the center of the river may lead to areas where civilians are told to keep their distance. These barriers can create a sense of curiosity. What lies beyond the designated paths? Is it merely a continuation of the city? Or is there more to uncover? These questions swirl in the minds of those who gaze across the water's surface. Another aspect of the restricted nature of Pyongyang is the treatment of foreign visitors. While tourists may experience guided tours through select parts of the city, typically operated with strict itineraries, they are often left wondering what they are not seeing. Private homes, bustling local markets, or even the quiet streets where everyday citizens live their lives are merely whispers in the winds for those who come from outside. The government's desire to curate an image of stability and prosperity prevents an unfiltered experience, prompting visitors to seek the unspoken realities behind the walls. Engaging with a restricted zone can lead to intense curiosity about what role these places play in the larger context of North Korean life. Some speculate that they are centers of military, economic, or technological innovation, embodying the country's ambitions for self-reliance and strength. Others imagine them as critical hubs, where policies are crafted, shaping the future of not just Pyongyang, but the entire nation. Each theory adds another layer to the already complex narrative that surrounds the city. One intriguing element is the vast and somber monuments that dominate specific areas, such as the towering Kim Il-sung Square. While these monuments shine brightly under the day's sun, the surrounding territories may lead to areas that remain closed off, housing the true engineering marvels of the nation, or serving as the backdrop for historical events that remain undisclosed. Citizens regard these sites with a mix of pride and reverence, yet the reasons for their guarded status elicit questions about what one must earn before being allowed entry. As you explore the elegant avenues lined with sprawling flowers and manicured parks, a sense of curiosity begs to be satisfied. What stories are held within those gated entrances? Who resides in those neighborhoods covered from public view? What cultural practices unfold away from the watchful eyes of the state? Each curiosity acts as a thread, weaving together the fabric of a city that prioritizes the preservation of a narrative at times too complex to express fully. In conclusion, Pyongyang's restricted zones perpetuate a mystique that captivates the imagination. With airborne surveillance and vigilant guards safeguarding these sites, the allure of the unknown persists. It encourages voices to rise, sharing tales of beliefs and realities while leaving others to formulate their own narratives. The vision of an orderly and optimistic facade is arched by the question of what truly lies beyond. In a world increasingly marked by transparency, the hidden areas of Pyongyang stand as monuments to the power of secrecy, beckoning eager minds to inquire further, even when answers may remain elusive. Each inquiry into this city reveals not only what is concealed, but also illuminates the complexities of a culture that remains resilient, guarded, and forever intriguing. Cultural heritage is an invaluable part of our global story, telling us about the traditions, values, and histories of different societies. In many regions, these sites are being preserved with care, but there are areas where this heritage is under threat. North Korea, known for its isolation and unique political landscape, presents an interesting, yet troubling case when it comes to its cultural heritage. This region is home to an array of significant cultural sites, yet many of these are at risk due to neglect and political exploitation. North Korea has a rich tapestry of cultural heritage, influenced by hundreds of years of history, religion, and tradition. There are numerous historical sites, many of which contribute to the understanding of how the Korean peninsula has developed over the centuries. From ancient palaces and temples to revolutionary monuments, these sites tell powerful stories. However, the socio-political situation in the country often overshadows this rich history. One of the most famous heritage sites is the Kumsusan Palace of the Sun in Pyongyang. It serves as a mausoleum for the country's founders, Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il. While it is undoubtedly an important site symbolizing the regime's authority and ideology, it also represents a part of North Korea's cultural heritage, albeit through a narrow lens. Visitors learn about the state's narrative, which has a profound impact on how cultural landscapes are perceived and valued, overshadowing the broader historical context. Another noteworthy site is the historic city of Kaesong, which once thrived as a key center of trade and culture. There, visitors can find remnants of the Koryo dynasty, which ruled from 918 to 1392. This city is home to the Koryo Museum and numerous ancient structures. However, like many other sites, Kaesong faces challenges such as decay, underfunding, and limited international awareness. The delicate balance between maintaining these historical sites and the prevailing political climate makes their preservation a complicated task. Moreover, the political atmosphere in North Korea often leads to a selective portrayal of history. Cultural heritage can be manipulated to reinforce narratives that support the ruling regime. The emphasis tends to be placed on revolutionary history and achievements rather than the broader spectrum of the nation's past, which includes the rich traditions and customs that have shaped the Korean identity over millennia. This politicization of cultural heritage can result in a form of neglect, where non-political aspects of the heritage are overshadowed and undervalued. It's also important to note the impact of international isolation on the preservation of cultural heritage. With limited access to outside influences and resources, many sites are not receiving the care they require. For example, maintenance of ancient buildings and their accompanying artifacts might be overlooked, leading to deterioration. While the government issues fancy brochures and promotes tourism to select sites, the reality is that many places suffer from neglect, further risking their existence. In contrast, neighboring countries like South Korea have made significant efforts to preserve and promote their cultural heritage. Their approach emphasizes the importance of learning from the past and fostering a sense of cultural pride among citizens and visitors. This stark difference in treatment raises questions about the future of North Korea's cultural heritage, especially as globalization continues to influence the world. It's worth considering how cultural heritage sites can serve as bridges between divided communities. Heritage has the potential to foster understanding, appreciation, and dialogue. However, when heritage is co-opted for political purposes, it can create barriers instead. Efforts to communicate and share these sites' cultural relevance with the outside world might help raise awareness and encourage preservation, but these efforts face significant hurdles. Global organizations and local communities often aim to document and promote threatened cultural heritages, emphasizing the importance of worldwide advocacy. Awareness and discussion around cultural preservation can lead to collaborations that support conservation efforts. However, with North Korea's unique political landscape, gaining traction for such initiatives can be extraordinarily challenging. In summary, North Korea's cultural heritage is a complex topic that encapsulates both rich historical narratives and the dilemma of political exploitation. While the nation boasts incredible sites that speak to its long-standing traditions and stories, the ongoing neglect and restrictive political environment threaten their preservation. Enhancing awareness of these cultural treasures is crucial in fostering appreciation for the history they embody, and in safeguarding them for future generations. As the world changes and evolves, cultural heritage can serve as a reminder of our shared humanity and the diverse experiences that shape our global narrative. Therefore, promoting understanding and advocacy for these sites becomes essential in ensuring that the beauty and significance of North Korea's heritage continue to resonate beyond its borders, enriching the narrative of our global story.